Welcome back to Nerd Rage episode 421. This is just your introduction here to get familiar and make sure that the thing is not going to crash. So, what do we think about these fucking aliens? Have you seen it?
What kind of aliens?
So, Mexico has gone live.
I don't think we call them aliens anymore, right?
He's got a point.
I don't think that's okay. Mexico has gone live with the bodies of 2 aliens.
Where was this? Where was I?
Who are we talking about here?
Hold on. I'm going to have to catch you guys up. So
Too busy in my own world.
yeah, so they're from Peru and they're ancient aliens. Okay.
Oh, you talking about old Mexicans or you talking about people from out of this orbit?
I'm talking about visitors from outer space. Okay. All right, ready? Here we go.
In Mexico, pulling back the curtain on what they believe are aliens and put 2 of those corpses on display. Take a look. These small mummified specimens were unveiled at Mexico's first ever UFO hearing yesterday. Yeah, it looks like E.T. You're right. The alleged alien corpses were found in Peru. They're believed to be 700 to 1,800 years old. They only had 3 fingers and elongated heads. X-rays of the aliens were also shown in Mexico, pulling back stone, and experts say one of the bodies has eggs inside of it.
That's not an alien. That's my ex-baby mama.
Yeah.
Right. So is this real? Do people believe this?
I don't know.
As Leslie Lopez says, we want DNA samples.
Yeah.
Who presented it?
And then we're eventually going to find out that aliens look nothing like we think they look.
I mean, they look exactly like what we think they look. Like E.T.
It looks like a stone carving. It really does.
What is that? I don't know.
So supposedly they have done a DNA test on it, and
That's assuming they have DNA.
yeah. So from what there's a couple articles that are related to it. Shout out to Tyler the Collector. He's the one that put me onto it. But it says 70% known DNA and 30% unknown. 30% they have no idea what it is. And they did X-rays and MRI stuff on it. And so then Tyler says something funny. You guys have kind of already ruined this punchline, and so has the newscaster. But he says it has round, complete circular ribs like a bird, a similar spine structure of a turtle, allowing it to contract and extend, and large orbital openings. It's fucking ET. But yeah, what do we think, dude?
I mean, is it real?
I don't know.
That's the question.
Yeah, I don't know.
What you just said was a result of the X-ray?
Yes.
And who released this information?
Mexico.
Oh, okay. I mean,
By way of Peru. And, Peru is one of those places where, it's in question, just like Mexico. Peru, Mexico, Egypt, I'm not saying it's aliens, but, it's one of those places.
Well, my stance on aliens has always been the same. Like, you're an idiot if you don't think that we're like a small microcosm of what's happening all around. There's
definitely something out there.
Yeah, there's something, whether you want to call it aliens or whatever, out there. But until them motherfuckers is fucking with me, I don't give a shit what you found or might have seen.
So the famous quote that is one of my favorites, and I've said it on here before, but we always see UFO sightings and we never see UFO landings.
That's right. Motherfucker sure did look like Steven Spielberg's version.
I mean, but it is fucking unnerving. You know what I mean? Like, there's this whole theory, right? Like, Robert has talked to me about it. The whole, like everybody shares this story of the flood, right? Like, across the world, like Noah's Ark or whatever, this like massive flooding that happened, which makes many people think that probably a huge flood did happen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a huge flood
at some point in history.
Like yeah.
But like, what I think about with that is like the theory that coincides with it is that like the folks that were here before that were building the shit in Peru and and the pyramids and here and it, like that it killed them. They weren't some of the survivors to hand down the old story. You know what I mean? And then we're the only ones left. We're the survivors of like the people that were indigenous, I guess, to the planet. I don't know. I mean, and I know I'm getting in my weirdo bag. I love
that shit. But it's just like one of those, like, I definitely think there's life outside of Earth, but also like I'm also a skeptic by nature. It's like I want there to be, fucking visitors or whatever, but like show me proof.
Visitors. I mean, but that's the closest thing I've ever seen to proof this thing.
We bought Alien Autopsy in 1995 or whatever.
Oh yeah, that too, bro. You know what I mean?
Octopus, bro.
But that too.
Them motherfuckers, everything under the ocean. I'm like, yo, that's got me.
Yeah. The deeper you go,
the more kind of detached from reality that seems. But
I mean, there's been a lot of alien talk in this last.
There's a lot of alien talk going on out there, dude. I feel like
we're getting prepped.
We're getting prepped for the thing. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Show yourself, dude. Come on, like what? You know what I mean? Like everything's going nuts. Like just like now,
they're waiting for us to be a little more out of whack. Just a little. We're almost there. And then
you see fucking Biden on the front steps throwing Reese's Pieces at him.
Yes.
No, come on, man. You're gonna just try it.
I was gonna put him. Oh, that was Mr. Button.
Oh, which one? Oh.
I want to warn you.
Not that one.
That too.
Yeah.
Next, they're sending the Chinese Aryan ships.
But it's just I don't know why. You know what? There is something to be said for this shit, right? There's a part of me. It's actually similar to my work environment in some ways nowadays, but like. Last couple years, right? We got COVID, we got mass shootings, we got fires. We got like I'm kind of like, what's next? Like, come on, let's give it to me. Let's have some new shit. You know what I mean? Like, I want the next big disaster. It's kind of giving me the 9/11 itch. You know,
that just passed.
And that was Bobby's last episode. Congratulations on episode 421. It was a good run.
We've been trying to push it,
but give me some excitement.
I mean, this reminds you. Well, on the other side of the game, back in the day, I don't know, I played SimCity, where you fucking grow people in cities. And then eventually you get real successful. You get bored and you start like lighting fires and then earthquakes and then floods. And then there's an option for aliens at the end.
And wasn't there like monsters too? Like giant monsters?
You can just start sending disasters just to see what the fuck happens. It's like, I think we're at that point now where like whoever's playing the game is getting bored with us.
God's bored with us. Dude, I think it was Cardi B.
I would say Saweetie.
Yeah. Dude, and Sexy the women in the rap are getting out of control.
So disgusted, bro. I'm so embarrassed. My boy posted like a snap of that and was like, and I didn't know why he posted it. Could have been, somebody posts a little snap in a music video and you're like, oh, he likes it or he hates it or like, whatever. Right. So I replied and I was like, fucking trash. I was like, I hate where we are right now. And he was like, what you talking about, bro? This is a song of the summer. And I was like, do you hear yourself?
So I think, sometimes both things can be true.
You're spot on. You're spot on. I ain't lying. If that joint come on in the club, I'm rocking to it.
It's the weird thing about it. I like a lot of the newer music, and I know exactly what it is caliber wise in terms of rap and shit specifically. Actually, rock too. I was listening to last night. I was going through I had a 9 Inch Nails playlist going on because I came up in a conversation recently, and I was like, man, this motherfucking shit is fucking music, like capital M music. And it doesn't mean that I don't enjoy this stuff now, but I do know it's not the same.
No,
like
it's commercialized.
That 50 years playlist that I sent you, I've been listening to that a lot, and this is some of those records. I'm like, God damn, these motherfuckers are rapping their hearts out, and then I get to like shit today, and it's like,
pussy,
slap it on your face, bitch, and I'm like, yeah, okay, man, I get it.
I'm trying to get my pussy stretched. I'm like, God damn.
I kind of feel like that shit, right? Like the crude female rap music, it's going to reach an apex similar to like the crude female comedian. Where it's like, okay, you give it up.
I thought we was there years ago.
Like, you're going to have to do something else now.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, give me a couple give it up jokes. It's the same thing like the, black guys drive like this. White guys all up on the steering wheel like this. Like, okay. But there's only so much of that you could do before you got to have something that's actually thought-provoking. Fucking Bill Burr is thought-provoking. Dave Chappelle is thought-provoking. Like, to evolve that shit, you're going to have to do something else. Like, I feel like women's rap and comedy has to move past their pussy.
Yep. End quote.
And trust me, celebrate it by all means. I'm a fan as well.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah. But just give me something else too.
Yeah.
You know, why am I the one asking women? Like, I want to know what's on your mind.
Hey, conversely, like I was done with hip hop because of that fucking "I'ma fuck your bitch" shit. Like yo, just shut the fuck up with all that. Like,
I feel like somebody fucked your bitch.
Nah, ain't nobody. Hey, off the record, on the record, ain't nobody fucking my bitch. Yo. Right?
Somebody got mine one time, not my current.
God damn! I was like, God damn. Oh no! When we was in high school, yeah, motherfucker, everybody was.
Yeah, I had a girl, man, and with a friend.
Yeah,
foul.
Oh, me too. But I don't care. You know what I mean? Not now.
I mean, I still care a little bit, but I mean, I'm a functional member of society. I don't think about it every day.
Was it high school? Was it high school?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, who cares?
Yeah, it was right before I met Laura. Like it was like first quarter 2000 or 1996. You know, and
September 13th, 1996.
I couldn't tell you all that. But yeah, bad little thing too, man. Just Costa Rican girl. But you know what? The older I get, there's a part of me that doubts that she was Costa Rican after all.
Okay.
Let me tell you why.
I mean, she sounded like a liar.
Let me tell you why. She looked like she could have, like if she was to say I'm Costa Rican, you wouldn't doubt it. You'd be like, that all adds up. Do you know what I mean? Like if I was like, I'm Ethiopian, you'd be like, really? You know, like if I was like, even if I was like you know, I'm African, you'd be like in a Dave Matthews kind of way, you know. But like this girl, when she said Costa Rican, he's from South Africa.
Dave Matthews is from Africa,
yeah.
South Africa.
Yeah, Charlize Theron,
Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk as well.
Blew my mind. I knew about Elon.
Yeah. So anyway, like I feel like when with her, when she said it, you wouldn't skip a beat. But then I got to thinking about that shit. Like she's from Alaska, and she moved back to Alaska. I think she might have been Eskimo, like you know what I mean, like a native Alaska.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she, like I don't even know if she spoke Spanish. And that bitch could fish. I'm just kidding. Always cutting holes on my floor.
Bitch, take that chinchilla off. It's like 80 degrees outside.
Yeah, what do you do? Take your hoodie off, bitch. Anyway, once again, Chris is on assignment. We have Joe with us, and we have KC with us.
What up?
KC, you actually were here first. You, not that that's abnormality, but you text me and said you were going to be 5 minutes late. So you ended up getting your coffee first, even though as a abnormal guest, I would have given you the leeway. Anyway, you actually earned it as well.
Sweet.
How's your nerd quarter been?
Excellent.
Good.
Yeah. It's been a while. I was happy. You had texted me a schedule, and I didn't realize you was saying there was a spot for me today, so I was like super happy to hear it.
Yeah,
I missed it, man.
Yeah.
And the other reason I missed it is because this is a sidebar on my nerd weeks, but like I was listening to you guys like consistently NR because I enjoy the show. But then like something happened and I wanted to talk to you about it where like I think I heard something happen on the show, or you were talking about the girls, and then I saw you in person and I like made a side joke about it or something, and you're kind of like, what are you talking about? And I was like, damn, man, like I'm having that relationship where...
Oh, the parasocial relationship?
Yeah.
But you're not, though, because you're actual friends.
I know, but I didn't like it.
What?
It's because like because when we're here, we're just talking, right? We don't have notes. Yeah. We don't have like bullet points of like talking points. So we're here bullshitting, and when we're done, we forget about it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people do hit me up too, like, "Oh, you said this and this on the show." I had to think about it. Oh yeah, I talked about this.
Yep.
Well, so here's the thing. Like, here's the other side. Usually, I wouldn't skip a beat, but because once we adjusted the schedule, and we might need to just adjust back. I haven't thought about that thoroughly enough yet, because we adjusted the schedule initially because you were going to be off the back end of weeks and working the front end of weeks. But I feel like as things have gone on, it's kind of just sporadic.
It's everywhere. It's fucking everywhere.
So like, so unfortunately, we're always like 2 weeks behind. So like when I say something 2 weeks. The 2 weeks later, it publishes.
Right. Is it 2 weeks now? It's usually 1 week.
Well, it's like a week and a half. Like, so we're doing.
Because usually we record now, it comes out next Thursday.
That's true. But sometimes we'll record on Monday.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like almost damn near a week and a half at least. So then it comes out that Thursday, right? And then you don't hear it. You don't get around to it till maybe the following Monday.
Someone isn't a Patreon member.
So now it's
then there's that.
Yeah.
But it comes out early for you then.
Yeah, but it's like shit. Life. You know what I mean? So like a couple days go by after that. Before you know it, it's 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and then you're you're like, hey man, what about the such? And I'm like, fuck, like I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then I have to remember it because it was just so long ago.
Yeah, no, you know? and that doesn't bother me. I could understand that, and it's nothing you guys did.
Yeah.
It's just I was like, I don't really want the Bobby updates through the radio. You know, it's one way.
Right.
So I wasn't that kind of bothered me. So I stopped listening. The one I did tune back into was
the Lights
a great one. I loved it, man. I loved it. The Lights and Wires one was good.
You should check out The Machine also.
Okay.
Last week's I think where we talk about The Machine. That's another thinker. I
like it. So yeah, I'm happy to be here because I do enjoy this show like a lot. But
well,
I felt
I'll tell
I
you,
had to distance myself.
I actually get disappointed. Not disappointed. I don't know the right word is, but like, so for those listening, Casey and Gomez do another show with me once a month on Patreon called The Kitchen Table. So you're already coming out once a month for that. Mm-hmm. So I often feel guilty being like, hey man, you want to come out again? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not like you live 10 minutes down the road.
Nah,
like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm about to be closer, which I'll get to in my thing. But yeah, I mean, you can always ask. You know what I mean? I love it. So
all right. Well, I don't handle rejection well, those two. So.
I guess the biggest news in the quarter is I'm a whole fiance.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations, man.
On your story.
She's not Eskimo, is she?
No, she's Costa Rican. No, she's El Salvadorian, so Gomez gets along with her famously. You know,
nice.
I mean? Yeah, she's cool, man.
You've told me that before.
Yeah, she's great, bro.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, she's cool. I've met her a couple times now as well. She seems like a nice girl,
and even more so when she like starts to know everybody better. Yeah. Because even like the first couple times I was like, say something, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but you can still get a vibe like she's a sweet girl.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like that's the first word that comes to mind with her. Like,
there's plenty of people that I've interacted with where I've only met their girl for like a handful of moments or whatever, and I'm like, that's not a happy person.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Give me before, giving me my mom vibes.
So yeah, since then, like, I mean, I'm as happy as I can be. Like, I think of that headspace that you probably found recently, Joe.
I'm feeling good.
And I actually, things have been pure chaos since the proposal because there's like all these, like I have to sell my house, move in with her. It's been back and forth between those two places. We're planning for the wedding, which we want to have next year. Destination wedding. You guys are both invited. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't take it personal if I can't swing that. But
that's all right. Hey, listen.
Destination wedding is a.
I don't handle.
It's a big ask. It's a big ask.
There's a kid. We're making sure we have a place that's kid friendly and has babysitting for $20.
I mean, that's nice. It's not. It's not so much that. It is like the money and leave from work and all that kind of stuff.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it. We both decided on destination, but we knew we needed to make it affordable for people.
There's two types of people in this world, right?
Oh, right. Probably more than that, but
there's Neil Diamond fans. No, okay. There's people that have destination weddings, you know. And then there's people that did the ceremony and the reception all in the same space so that they wouldn't have to inconvenience anybody even to drive.
Yeah.
I'm more the latter.
Yeah, I get that. I think for me and her, the biggest thing is we want it to be a celebration and we want it to be with people that we care about. So if we can't create that environment.
You never try to celebrate at the lakefront?
At a destination. Come on. We go to like, never, I'm not even going to. So to your point, we're getting married in the courts. And then we're going to have this big celebration over, as a destination wedding. And for those that can't make it when we get back, we still going to get lit and celebrate with you. You know what I mean? So
where are you going to destinate to?
Well, we're thinking Dominican Republic right now, but I'm trying to go where my money stretches, bro. So like, I'm trying to make that money stretch. So
I hear you.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm super. I'm good with it.
That's awesome.
I mean? Yeah,
that's awesome.
I haven't followed a lot of the girls on IG.
Recently I've been doing the same, and not because my wife has an issue with it. Although it is awkward when you're like sitting next to each other and she looks over at your phone and like one of those. It's like,
I hate that.
It's like always the worst possible. And
it's not.
One.
It's like a joke. It's like a whole skit. Like the whole thing's a joke, but it has ass cheeks in it.
Mine's usually not a joke, but
sometimes. Yeah. Well, that's my excuse.
Y'all never just sit in the mire together? That's what we do.
It's different.
She'd be like, "Look at this." I'm like, "Look at this."
It's different. It's different. If the plan is to sit down and get into that vibe, no problem. But if she's just trying to enjoy a fucking cup of coffee, and here I am next to her, and this bitch is shaking her ass uncontrollably first thing in the morning, I'm sure it doesn't make her feel the happiest. You know, like if I looked over and I saw some dude swinging his dick around, like I'd be like, what bitch? What?
How did he get on Instagram?
if you don't take that hood off and get back to Alaska.
Hey, what was her name?
Shoshana.
All right, we gotta remember that one.
That sounds more like an Alaskan name.
Yeah, no I feel like Shauna could have, vibed, but
Shoshana.
Yeah. But anyway, I've just like so. Like, here's the one. Like, I was following this page called. I'm dirty. I'm a fucking filth. Women eating bananas.
I used to swallow. Yeah. I used to follow. Oh, too much coffee. I used to follow one of women smashing watermelons with their legs.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean,
he's judging the fight. I judge your banana
because mine is sexual. Yours is like stepping on a turtle type.
That's
shit.
not
Like,
sexual.
No, that's definitely sexual.
Hell yeah, bro. The watermelon is your head.
Yeah, suffocate me, bro.
But I don't want them to squish my head.
No,
I do.
Yes.
I mean, I do
want them to work. I want them to work my banana just like how these other ones. But I could be on Instagram for an hour and not see one post from that.
I know.
But if
second she glances,
but if she sits down next to me for 1 second, it'll be like back to back. I'm like, come on.
Same.
So I've unfollowed a lot recently just because I'm like, man, like I have other ways to get that stimulus if I want it.
Same. And I do feel some type of way about like giving this bitch that attention. Like, I'm kind of like, you don't deserve this from me. Like, I just gotta take my little follow.
I unfollow, and as soon as I see the button doesn't say follow back, it goes like, take that.
Yeah. Oh, 999,000 followers now.
Yeah, but now it's 999,999.
Yeah, how you like that?
I bet you that hurt.
Open your Instagram. What's your first 5 posts?
Let's go.
That's gonna be fun.
What's the first 5?
All right.
Mine is I'll show everybody.
I'm already over
I got Final Fantasy number 1. That ad doesn't count. Strong.
Swole chick.
Yep. 2.
Swole guy. All right.
3.
Oh, that's wild.
Memes number 4.
I would take my phone and throw it as far as I could.
More memes number 5.
Oh, nice.
All right. So mine is an interview with Fedro Starr from Onyx.
Okay.
That's an ad. Alien corpses.
Yeah. They're listening.
More alien corpses.
They're definitely listening.
This is on World Star. This is music, new music alert, and Star Wars news.
Okay.
That's my first 5.
And what you got?
Somebody's first day of preschool with their child. Look at me. I told you I'm an engaged man now.
Memes?
Yeah, I don't know what it's about. The booby traps. That's weird. UFC, which is my next topic, which is funny as shit.
Ladies UFC.
It's about UFC betting. Yep. And then another meme, I guess, which is about marriage life. Yeah, I mean, mine's kind of fucking. You guys make me feel. I thought that was gonna get wild.
But if one of your chicks was down here, would be like, ass, tits, ass.
Eating bananas.
No doubt. Man, he sure does love
They're not
bananas.
around when you're just scrolling perfectly normal shit.
Not at all. Now there's a few. I want to be clear. There's a few I wasn't really quite let go of yet when I was doing some unfollowing.
Your favorites?
There's a few I just like to keep up to date with them, make sure I know because they're all working.
Plus, you can't. You only come across them when you come across them, and then you give them the unfollow.
How can I celebrate their success if I don't keep tabs?
I agree. I agree.
UFC?
Yeah. Yeah. Good subject change there. Yeah, I was
Ultimate fucking challenge.
Nope. They had a big fight card pay-per-view last Saturday, and I had a $100 bet that parlayed into 30,000. Could have parlayed into 30,000, and normally when you do that, there's 12 to 14 fights on a card. Mm-hmm. So like, if I parlay something, I kind of go out early. Like, I know I can go to bed. I lost my bet, whatever. I didn't stay up to watch this one, and I kind of like was awake, and I rolled over to check the updates, and my parlay was hitting like perfectly up until that last fight. And I'm like, and that last fight was the biggest underdog this year for sure.
So you're like, wedding's covered.
Done. Right. Like, this is in the bag.
Right.
And this motherfucker got knocked out, or, well, didn't get knocked. He lost the decision. And I'm, like, reading the updates, and I'm stressing over it. And it was just, that was one that bothered me. Like, it normally never bothers me, you know what I'm saying?
Close.
Like, and it wasn't supposed, like, this wasn't supposed to happen. Like, this was the one I was like, oh, this is easy.
Right. This
all
is
the other
bag.
ones, yeah, the other ones were upsets and like nailed the prediction on round and knockout, like everything. It was just super. I'm just done with that shit.
Today.
Yeah, until next Saturday. And then maybe not. Maybe you can edit it out if you want to. I don't care. But the UFC just merged with WWE, which Chris was actually
really
Chris, yeah,
interesting.
And it's called TKO, and it went to the stock market as an exchange because it is a business at the end of the day. So they have so they're on Wall Street now, and it like really fucking it might be the last thing that has me like done with UFC. I'm really? Still gonna watch it. $80 a month for pay-per-views, $12 a month for ESPN Plus, so that you have to have ESPN Plus to order the pay-per-views. It's adding up already. Sometimes the pay-per-views ain't even fucking worth it, but you gotta watch it. You know what I mean? So then I bought stock in the UFC when they went. It's called Endeavor last year, and that's me putting faith into this company, right?
Correct.
Well, then fucking a year later, Endeavor plummets, and a year later, you're under TKO. It kind of pisses me off. Like, they just keep doing these money grab bullshits. They don't give a fuck about. And Dana White
that's
did this
what companies do, though. You
yeah,
be
but this
surprised
shit's
by
like,
now.
they just, my problem, at least, like, you know, what is it? Fucking put some lipstick on for you. What do they say? It's some type of expression where like, buy me dinner before you fucking make me grab my ankles. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't. They're just like, keep giving us money, keep giving us money. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
That's all. That's what companies as a whole, not the people in it per se, or even individual board members, but all together as a whole. That's what they do. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what they want to do.
But I'm having a hard time doing that. Sorry, that thing that Joe always talks about, where like you speak with your money talks. Like, but I'm having such a, and it isn't. I'm having a hard time disassociating with it. But they're not. I know it's not worth my money.
Why would they change anything if you keep giving them money? If they ask you for another $1, you give them another $1.
Yeah.
They will keep asking you for another $1.
I know. I'm just gonna start bootlegging their fight.
Exactly. I mean, that's my thing. I'm always like, I'll fucking pirate it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't care if it's glitchy anymore, bro.
My thing is like, all right, so what is your annual payment to watch Ultimate Fighting Championships? I mean, I'm sorry, monthly payment.
Monthly would be 100 because 13 plus then 90 for pay.
So
that's $1,200 a year.
So that's where my head goes. Is that's probably I mean, and I don't mean this in a sarcastic way, but that's probably a healthy business model in the modern world for entertainment.
It's a year-round sport too.
When I contrast that against Disney Plus or Netflix for $15 a month or whatever, and they seem to be struggling so much, I'm like, that's probably fucking why. Because in order to really make it the way you want to make it, you'd have to charge motherfuckers somewhere around $100 a month.
No, that's absolutely not true. And then the worst part
Dude,
about
when
it,
you think about the amount of money, like what does a show cost? Like, what does Ahsoka cost? Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say 60 million, you know, and and that's one show of many being created. And then all of that has to be recouped.
Yeah. I think you're being a little bit sympathetic to these big fucking businesses that are.
No. I'm not. I'm saying that the whole model doesn't work.
Just give me your little measly $12 a month.
That doesn't work.
And
because they can't make the money. Yours doesn't work because nobody wants to shell out that much money. And maybe cable was the best thing that ever happened.
I don't know, man, because cable wasn't cheap. To get what you want to watch out of it,
no, it wasn't cheap, but you got a fuck ton for your money.
I mean, a fuck ton of what you want, or just a fuck ton of shit, just like now, you know? It was the same thing. It's
not the same thing.
I remember having like 100 and something channel, and I flipped through all of them, and there was not a goddamn thing I want to watch.
I think Hulu's the closest thing to perfect.
That may be true,
and it wasn't. Well, I guess more VODs are now more a thing where like on demand wasn't a thing back then. Like whenever the time slot's on is on.
That may be true, but at the same breath, everybody, you could afford it, and they could afford to make the shit.
And then they tried to fuck you with that bundle bullshit too. Like, you got to get your home phone with it if you want it for $150 instead of $200. It's like, I don't even use a home phone.
No, I don't get none of that shit.
Because that's the question, right? Like that's the $1 million question for Netflix, is whether Netflix is actually making the money that people think they are.
They are.
That's not the way it seems. That's not the way it seems.
Forget, you got to factor in the writer's strikes, and they haven't. I don't think they've kept up with.
So the reason why that shit can't end is because they can't afford to pay those motherfuckers anymore.
It's Is that true, or is that opinion?
So the thought is that the theory,
it's the AI
is that like
I'm serious.
Yeah. So the shit that used to keep it's just like music, right? Oh, I'm getting in my bag now. So the theory with music and streaming services and such is like it's not Fabio Foreign that's fucking making these record labels any money, right? It's Elvis, it's the Beatles, it's Bob Dylan, it's James Brown, it's these pinnacles of success, right? That get so much streaming and licensing every fucking month that's what keeps the gears moving, right? And then you have these other artists and shit that just sort of like keep you above water. They just sort of they make enough for everything to kind of stay on track, and then the other shit is where the money's really coming in from. So if your expenses are $1 million, these new artists are generating $1 million, but your profit is all coming from these major acts that you've had over the years, like Michael Jackson on Sony or whatever the case may be, right? So the same thing would go with Netflix. The idea with Netflix was that when they had The Office, when they had Friends, when they had shit like that, that was the shit that was really making them the money. Once that shit all went to their own independent individual streaming services, they lost Elvis. They lost the Beatles. And now the shit that's supposed to be just enough to kind of keep their head above water is now also responsible for their profits. And that's why they can't sustain it.
I see what you're saying, because they're doing the production now as well. Like they didn't produce Friends, they just obtained it.
Very few of their productions for the amount of things that they produce. Like Netflix produces a fuck ton. Go through your Netflix thing and just swipe for 10 minutes and see how many little red ends are on it.
But that's part of. I don't think that they weren't getting enough money. I think that they misused and misappropriated and didn't adapt with the times the way they should have. They got ahead of themselves. They created studios overseas. They created studios in the States. They created all these studios and put out fucking practically trash.
Yeah, a lot of trash.
Yeah. Because I think the business model became quantity.
Yes,
right.
And that's where they fucked up. But so that's not for a lack of money.
But well, okay, maybe an allocation of money is fair. Yeah. But like I don't know if the average idiot out there wants just 5 things on their streaming service that are good. I'm using numbers arbitrarily.
Right, sure.
But I think a lot of people, the allure to Netflix is that there's
a fuck ton of things.
There's a fuck ton of things.
Yeah, but they're so dumb. They shouldn't have done that. And guess what they
don't have to do? They don't have to think. So they can just
make it.
Isn't there even a fucking shuffle option?
I don't know. There used to be. I looked for that the other day because I was trying to fall asleep. It doesn't
autoplay option. Like once the movie's over, it'll stop playing another one.
Yes. But I think there used to be.
Probably made by Netflix.
If there's still not, there used to be like, can't decide what to do? Yeah. Hit shuffle and it'll just put some shit out
I think that's gone because I was looking for it just yesterday because I wanted to go to bed.
But that is the excessive, demonstration or representation of saying like my audience doesn't want to have to choose.
Yeah,
they don't want to have to make decisions for themselves.
Yeah, but and again, that's I think they made a bad shift in mentality. The things that,
but are they actually not profiting? No, or are they not? Are they not profiting, or not? Are they not profiting as much as a company wants to profit? Because all these people are still making a lot of fucking money.
Right.
I don't know where the money comes from, but all these fucking
I don't think they're profiting
and all that shit.
I don't think they're profiting enough to pay people a decent wage
while paying themselves a fuck ton of money.
Yeah,
that's the problem, right? That's part of the problem. Because you want exponential growth. I mean, you want infinite growth.
That was my point about the UFC.
It's part of the problem, but it wasn't the problem before the streaming shit got out of control. Is my point. That's always been the case, right? And you and I both agree there should be certain caps on that shit and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's phases. Everything's going in phases. The Marvel universe, everything goes in phases. Like I think they're in a phase right now that especially Netflix, navigated improperly. And then now it's, what are you going to do about it? And they're making another terrible decision. Well, we're going to hike your rates up. What the fuck? Your shit is getting less quality, more quantity, granted, but I already don't want to be here. And now you want to hike my prices up and crack down on, I don't know if you guys had that. Well, you don't have it. That crackdown on, you don't have it either. Goddamn. The crackdown, I logged into Netflix.
He has Netflix.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Fire Stick, bro. Yeah, I tried to log in at my house and it was like, is this your primary location? And I was like, suck my dick. And I hit ignore. And then at my girl's house, she couldn't do it anymore. So then I had to make her house the primary joint.
See, and they even like every time that one of these huge, like when they lost Friends, big fucking deal. When they lost The Office, big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And then we had Disney Plus. And then you had HBO Max,
right.
and they are huge competitors in that space. And now I think I think that they're struggling.
But like, I think it's all. I don't think it's just Netflix, right? Because
no. I'm just using them as an example.
I mean, in general, they're all struggling. So like, it's not like they're now competing in a space where people are better than them, right? They were for a minute, but all these people that were better, Max, for example, HBO Max, for example, like they start fucking doing the same shit. So like, it's all trash.
So you could,
I mean, not all trash, but they're all doing the same shit with the same mistakes.
So
it's up to like consumer choice, I guess, what you choose to have.
So I think the thing there, right, is that people are to your argument with like the quality over quantity. That's what Max was, and it didn't work.
So my question was going to be: would you rather be Netflix with cable. Tiger King, or would you rather be?
I think it's cable or streaming with ads.
That's why I said Hulu's probably the closest.
I'll say
to
3: cable, streaming with ads, or higher prices for streaming services.
Yeah, but the problem with higher prices for streaming services is there's always going to be another streaming service. Mm-hmm. And then you've missed out on that, and now you got to get Apple because, you know.
I mean, but that's not what the individual do. Like, there's a lot of services I don't have, and I don't miss them because I don't, I choose not to have.
I don't miss Netflix.
I don't miss Peacock, whatever the fuck,
Right.
Or Paramount, whatever I enjoy my Netflix, and some of everyone has Prime. I assume everyone just has Prime. Prime is like,
right,
because
Prime isn't the service.
No, because Prime is tag team.
Prime is the icing.
Yeah. But what so everyone has at least.
Can you imagine Prime getting duct tape in 3 days? God, who's got the time?
Can you get duct tape tomorrow? No, I want it tonight.
I ain't gonna lie, I could never go back. Like, you're joking about that, but
it's true.
It's true. Never, bro.
It's fucking true. It's a life changing thing.
Yeah,
Anyway, UFC.
Fuck. I mean, I'm overpaying them. I'm over fucking giving them money, and then you see Dana White doing whatever he wants.
You want to stop?
Yeah.
So. I mean, because especially with companies where you can see a figurehead, like Dana White or Elon Musk or any of these people, or I don't know, fucking Figgy, I don't know who the fuck is in Disney.
Oh yeah.
When you can see the people, it's not just a nebulous concept. That's a logo.
Right.
You see the people and the kind of life they live and the kind of money they make. You can see like, no, fuck you. I'm not gonna give you money.
You're spot on. Dana White made big headlines. He's the owner of UFC. He made a big headline because he did this thing where he got his blood drawn and it was a DNA test and it basically told him how much longer he had to live. And he was like, after they did this test and found out how long I had to live, they did this thing where they put me in this program and they did all these devices and now I'm going to live till this age. And he was like, look it up. And I was such a sucker. I didn't even realize it was a fucking play at more money. And I went to this page. And said, I'll do the test. It's like $90,000 to go through this program. And I'm like, you're a dickhead for even telling people you did that.
Yeah.
But he's got no fucking shame. He's like, yeah, it is what it is. And he's appealing to that 1%. And
who is this?
Dana White.
So when is he going to die? Did he say?
I think I don't remember. This was like 6 months ago. But look at it.
You got to pay him $10,000.
Yeah, just to see the video. Yeah.
But it's up to the 99 to not fucking give him any more money.
I agree. And
I'm
trying, Joe. I'm really trying.
Anyone who you disagree with, is up to you to fucking cut him off.
Any public company, though, they have to answer to shareholders, and those shareholders are only going to let they're only going to let the margin between profit and expenses.
But and the fucked up part is not us at this table particularly, but as us who is the quote unquote shareholders, right? People who has interest in the stock or wherever the fuck.
Well, he's a shareholder.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know anymore because remember I was the shareholder.
You were a shareholder.
Yeah, who knows?
It was actually the topic I was thinking of just because I think about random shit. And I remember I was playing a game called Master of Orions back in the day. It's a game where you fucking you go around getting planets and you start from primitive to as advanced as you can. And there are benchmarks of how advanced your planet is, like internet being one of them, like interglobal planetary communications.
Intergalactic planetary?
There it is.
No.
We're not going to do it. Chris will go through the whole lyrics for it.
But one of the thing is a stock exchange is a benchmark of being first world or whatever. And I think that's awful to even put that there. I think the fucking stock market or stock exchange is one of the worst things humans ever fucking invented. Yeah. I think that has nothing but detriment to society.
Yeah.
There's no... I don't see any... It is what drives publicly traded corporations. Is what's driving infinite growth. Right? Like, and it's also... giving people money for doing nothing, basically. It's sanctioned gambling. I'm going to put money in this company, betting that they will make me more money. For doing nothing but giving some money to start with.
But once they have your money, guess who's in control of the money for the most part? Like, you know.
Mm-hmm. And like, how many people have been fucked over because whatever crash or insider trading or you know there's some corrupt shit going on at Wall Street or wherever the fuck.
Yeah.
There's nothing tangibly good I can think of that comes from the stock market.
I think when it started, it was Alexander Hamilton, right? I think.
Maybe he made a telephone.
I think that's Graham or Bell.
Hopefully it's Bell.
I think it's Alexander Bell.
There you go. Yeah.
But like here, so I could take that a step further. Is there anything good about gambling?
No, I mean, I'm okay with it as
so probably not. We should probably. I mean, but
I'm okay with it as a recreational activity, though. I actually, whenever I see gambling ads like fucking Jamie Foxx, I'm like, fuck you. How much money do you have? You're telling people to give money to bet on shit that people probably don't have that money to bet, and you're fucking advertising that shit. Yeah, gambling is fucking insidious. I am really fucking against gambling unless you just have spare cash to blow for recreation,
because it does like people, like there's negative data associated with any place that legalizes gambling and what it does to
the people
and the community.
But where's the accountability for the people also? To make decisions for their, then you keep taking that. Like, should we close liquor stores? Should we close, you just keep extrapolating this thing, right? Like, and I'm not against it.
No, but it's supposed to be a recreational activity, like drinking or smoking, whatever. At that point, it is up to consumers, your discretion, even though you kind of pressured into doing those things. It's still up to you.
Right.
None of us are here, at least as far as I know, are alcoholics or gambling addicts.
Maybe.
Or any kind of addict,
No.
right?
Yeah, no.
Like, we chose that life. For some people, choose another life. But like with stock market is built into the fabric of our society.
Yeah.
It's not recreational.
Yeah.
The only reason they allowed it is because they're making money off of it.
Right.
Like, that's it. And then they try to justify it by saying, well, a certain percentage of the profits are going to go to the school system. I mean, gorgeous Prince George's just did it. And it's like, but you're not seeing the results. You're not seeing the fruits of the labor. Like, so.
Well, they also say, like, as far as like the stock, like that, like at a certain point, a company gets too big where it's better for, and I'm not saying that I believe this. I'm just saying that it's part of the argument, right? That it's better for people to own it rather than, a select group of executives.
But they do.
Than a select group of shareholders in it.
It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Same argument for gambling. Like, would you rather be in a back alley fucking
shooting craps?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up.
Shake 'em up.
Kingdom on Apple is pretty good.
Is it?
Idris Elba, he's on a plane, he gets hijacked.
That's a charming motherfucker, man.
God, yes, yeah.
Charming motherfucker.
Yellow Jackets on.
So wait, what is it about? A plane? What is it? Give me.
Is it a movie or a show?
It's a show. It's a series on Apple TV.
The whole show is a part of the same hijacking.
Yeah, and my thoughts exactly. I thought it was a movie when I started it. And then I was like, oh, this is a series? Not sure I want to do this for fucking however many episodes. And it's really good. It's.
I mean, as long as that plane can stay in the air, I guess.
Yeah. There's a big mystery that's you're put onto in the beginning. And then every episode, you're kind of like, are they going to answer it? But there's no, like, hurry up and get to it. It's a good suspenseful.
Have they said, like, what the goal of the hijack is?
Nope, not yet. But,
interesting.
But there's so many, like. I promise they do a good job of leading you along. Like that little carrot they're dangling in front of you.
Hopefully
it's not annoying.
Speaking of hijacking, we just had 9/11 recently, and my daughter Selena was like, we talked about it in school, but so-and-so that I walked to school, she had no idea what it was. And I was like, oh, that's like that. That's like when the planes came over here and bombed us. And I was like, well, you don't know what it was either.
And bombed us, yeah.
It's wild.
It's not too
like,
far.
It's not like
yeah. I got a map out, and I fucking talked about it. I talked about the history of it. Like,
but they'll never understand. There was no such thing as like being vulnerable.
Yeah,
there was no such thing in the United States, and then the lives lost was tragic. But like,
of course,
the sense of holy shit, we're not untouchable.
Right. Because it seemed invincible, right? Like,
that was nuts.
That's a feeling. That's probably something we shouldn't be feeling in the first place.
That's true. That's true.
That's part of the problem.
But I didn't
just
say like, these people attacked us and took down. I was like, look, this is why this country was at war with this country, and we back this country, and they felt the way about it. And I went through.
Plus, they just don't like our idealism.
And I touched on that as well, you know, and I touched on the religious aspects of it. Like I went into, I may have gone too far at some point.
America sucks.
No, but just in the terms of the history, I could just tell like her eyes were like glazing over at certain points. But it wasn't just as simple as good guys, bad guys. It was like, look, this shit sucks. You know, this was a heinous fucking act, but this is why it happened. This is what happened afterwards.
Yeah,
that cost a lot more lives as well. And you know, and like I went through. I was proud of myself for taking the time because I was not feeling it at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Yellow Jackets.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, it's the girls on the soccer team that their plane crashes in the middle of somewhere, but it's like sci-fi combined with horror combined with, you know, I don't know, thriller type shit. It's pretty good. It's
I've heard good things about
it. I think they're going to do another season, but they haven't committed to it. But it's like this open ending that kind of pissed me off. But other than that, it's good. And then the last thing is I finally watched The Flash. I haven't had time to do shit. I can't wait till I get in that space where I can do whatever. But finally watched The Flash and this was the only one I was actually excited for.
Like, it hurts that much more, doesn't it?
Dude, all the other shit that was coming out, I was like, I'll see it when I see it. I still haven't seen as far back as the latest Doctor Strange. I haven't seen any of that. I haven't seen.
Oh, good for you.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. Shazam, the second one. I haven't seen shit because I just haven't cared to. I was really excited for this, and I started watching it, and it took me 3 times to get through it. The first time, granted, I was pretty sleepy, but I was like looking at the CGI of him in his suit. And he looks goofy as fuck. The suit looks dope, but like his head to body ratio.
I said that since fucking 5 years ago when he first showed up. Yes, he doesn't look right.
Yeah, it was weird as fuck. And I was like, all right, I'm trying to like think about how the difficulty they must have had with this kid being a fucking weirdo. And you know, was he arrested at the time? Were they shooting through COVID? Like, were they trying to piece all this shit together? I'm really trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I just didn't like the movie until Batman showed up. And when he did, I was like, well, maybe I'm trying to approach it as a realist. And I was like, you only like it because of the nostalgia. And I do think that that's true. But the more I watched, I was like, it seems like the CGI is better. The action's better. The script all of a sudden got better. The acting got better. And I really, from that point on, I did enjoy the movie, including Supergirl's action scenes, like Batman's action scenes, his gizmos, his fucking the fight scenes.
There is a way that DC, I've said this since the beginning, and Snyder set the precedent with it, but the way that DC shoots their action stuff that I do like, where they don't jump the camera around a whole lot.
Yeah, like it stays and then it fast swivels.
Yeah, like the camera will stay in one place and you'll see somebody hit somebody and you just see them go.
Yeah.
And then land somewhere. Whereas like, I feel like with Marvel, with Star Wars, with a lot of other like big
cameras
action,
chasing
them. Yeah, the camera go and chase them, falling down to the ground and then shoot back. And you know, there's something about it that seems like, fuck, this is a dangerous environment.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I get that. And then the last thing was, I thought the Nicolas Cage Superman was fucking. I mean, that was next level. That was next level.
And part of the movie,
you know, because I felt like they was kind of listening to the fans, or at least had their finger on the pulse. Like, but they're gonna love this. So
with the spider monster.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing. They got the whole thing.
Yep. I think if I had to give it a score, I mean, if I'm looking at the second half was when Batman showed up, and the first half was when he wasn't there, and I hated it. And then the connection with his mom at the end.
That's my favorite part.
I loved it.
That's the best part.
I loved it. So I would go 6 out of 10 because I liked the back half of the movie, and then the emotional connection.
It took so long to get there. That's why I was saying when after we first watched it, why I hated Barry talking to Barry for a fucking hour. They're both fucking annoying.
Yeah, they should have. I think had they done a reverse Flash story instead of a Barry story.
Yeah.
You know,
did you when he was
because it wasn't very good.
Oh fuck yeah, that was a good one. I hate to give you credit for that,
but I think that like you know like had you dealt with a different actor, he has somebody else to play off of, like because he is the
TV series actor should have been it.
He can be a bit fucking much in general.
I agree.
Actor.
I agree.
You know, and
I didn't enjoy it
the whole fucking time.
And then you're gonna double down on him. You know, like a like Juicy Fruit. Like just put another different guy in there to like play off of. You know, and I think that dynamic, and then Reverse Flash trying to kill his mother, had they gone that route, and I know that they could feel like, hey, maybe this is retreading the first season of The Flash too much, but like it's the fucking story.
And it's a movie.
It's like, the Flash story. Yeah. It's just like with Titans, the first season of Titans where they like have to fight Raven's dad. Like, yeah, like we've seen it in cartoon form, we've seen it in comic book form, and now we're seeing it here, but it's the story.
Just do it right. Do it some justice. Yeah. And you can't go wrong. You could tell Joker's story a million fucking times. You like that? I didn't do it on purpose. Joker's story's been told how many fucking times? Batman's story's been told how many fucking times? Just do it if you just do it right.
Yeah.
Even the Joker, the one with Joaquin Phoenix, like, sure it's not canon, but like it was different. So good.
Yeah, it was different for sure. Like I want to see that again because I haven't seen it since the
I've watched
theater.
it so many times, dude.
That scene though, that's what
theater.
Yeah, sorry. With him sitting and the did you ever see it?
No.
Stop. You would probably dig it the most, to be honest.
Because you're sick of Batman, but dog, right?
And the Joker.
Yeah,
I'm not a Joker fan.
What? That moment at the end of with him on the couch and when with the talk show host and all that, like you get what you fucking deserve. Like that shit is like as an uppercut, But I'm looking. That's what I'm constantly chasing in this shit. Is shit that evokes emotion, and feeling, and makes you think about shit, and that isn't just fucking another fucking spoonful of pudding with a little fucking sugar sprinkled on top, crammed down my fucking throat.
Couldn't agree more.
Shaped like a blue beetle.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
You ain't like it?
Nah.
I haven't seen it. I know the trailer looked dope. Of course it did. Fuck. That sucks.
It's a very paint by numbers. I last week when we were talking about the machine, actually, I was like, it does everything right.
Yeah, but
and that's why
problem.
It sucks.
Yeah, Ahsoka, you like Ahsoka?
I'm only one episode in.
Still? Last week you were like, oh my god.
I'm just not motivated to watch that shit.
I've been in that space. I'm just not motivated to see none of this shit.
I was getting ready to watch it last night. This is a true story. I was getting ready to watch it last night, and I was like, I kind of want to see the documentary about Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion more. And I ended up not watching that either because I didn't think Laura was interested. So I watched a different documentary about a telemarketing service that was actually...
I heard about that.
It was really good.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing is like and that's a crazy thing for me, right? It's like this is a live action unknown Star Wars that circles around Jedi, which is my interest. I know some people are Jedi'd out, and I get that and I respect that, but I like the Jedi. That's what I'm in it for, and it circles around that. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just watch this documentary on telemarketing instead. You know what I mean?
Are we becoming adults?
So I think I'm becoming allergic to mid.
But you don't know that something's mid
from that first episode. I feel like I can tell it's mid.
Okay.
It also is because you've been gotten so much.
I know.
So much.
You can only punch me in the dick so many times.
From the same source.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Do better. Everybody, just across the board, do better.
I'm underdosed.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm underdosed. Like they tried to overdose me, but they just underdosed me. Is that it?
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate you listening.
Thanks. Yeah. No, I'm good. Joe?
Watched some random shit, but mainly still on Armored Core 6. Was playing before I came over. I've beaten the game 3 times. Like you're supposed to beat it 3 times to get all 3 different.
Right. But the first one you had to reset.
Yep. I had to catch up on that. Now I'm trying to get S rank on every mission to get like the platinum trophy. That's the only thing I'm missing.
Have you?
I want to I want 100% this game because I love it so much.
Have you moved on from Diablo?
Oh yeah.
Me too. But I also don't have the time to play. But
it's time consuming. But like I finished it before the first patch.
Yeah,
which I think they fucked up a lot of stuff, but maybe they fixed it now.
Yeah. I didn't. I
enjoyed it while it lasted, but like I'm glad I blasted through it.
Yeah.
Favorite thing I watched this week was One Piece live action.
So you're loving it?
I can't tell what it looks like from
the outside.
From the outside, from someone who's not a One Piece fan. But in general, it seems like it's getting good.
It seems to be well received.
Well received across the board from fans and non-fans alike. To me, as a fan, I thought, true to the spirit, they had to change or cut out some stuff, which I understand because
it's only so much.
It's only they had to truncate it to however many episodes they have.
Good word. Truncate.
Yeah, it is.
So it's a word I like a lot. I don't use enough.
Yeah. Well, let's step it up.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna try. I listen that way. Like when I hear people talk, I'm like, "Ooh, good choice."
There's a lady I follow on IG that's got the word of the day. And she's
really?
so good. Yeah, it's so good.
Right. From ladies with a big ass to ladies with big words.
Look at us. We are adulting.
From eating bananas to eating vocabulary.
Did the same people that did Cowboy Bebop?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's Netflix.
It gives me the feel.
But it's I mean, Cowboy Bebop was generally shat upon.
Yeah.
But this is
liked it, but that's all right. What do I know?
This is true to there was some stuff that they were cut out that I wish it wasn't, but it's true to spirit. Everything was source material based. I loved it. I mean, even to the wackiness of it, because I know One Piece is wacky, and I'm like, I don't know how this translates to screen, but they went full on. They're like, yeah, this world is fucking wacky, and we're going to go all in on the fucking wackiness, and then you buy into it because it becomes normalized. And I'm like, that's a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
I just wonder where they're going to go from here. I assume they're going to get a fucking second season because it's doing so well. And I love the cast. I thought it was great. I had some reservations when I first saw, just like with The Witcher with Henry Cavill. When I first saw, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. This looks real silly.
Right.
But when I watched them in action, I was like, oh, everyone's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to second season whenever that comes up. But I don't know how they're going to do it because it's a long fucking series. They've covered not maybe a tenth of it, something like that. And it gets exponentially wackier. So I don't know what kind of budget or CG. Like one of the main characters,
don't know either.
One of the main characters that's upcoming is a fucking small, like animal person.
Okay. Watto? Is it Watto?
No.
Is that a Star Wars character?
Yeah.
Okay, look at me.
aren't you something?
It's like a little fucking reindeer, but like a little kid who's a reindeer.
Okay.
So like that's gonna have to be CG the whole time, I assume, to get it to look right. And then Crystal was like, "Oh, they can get just like a child to play it." I'm not sure if a child in a furry suit is gonna make it do, but
they're gonna get canceled like Balenciaga.
Yeah. Well, hey, look what fucking Bruno accomplished with those kids when he was doing that. Do you remember that in the movie? Did you ever see the Bruno movie?
Yeah.
And that when he did that whole like ad campaign, he like got the parents to like sign off on their kids, like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you know, if the bag is right, you know what I mean? Yeah. Secure the bag.
Objective number one.
So I recommend everyone to watch it because I love One Piece. Like I don't think I've loved anything. One Piece and Berserk are the longest running things I've kept up with and have not decreased my enjoyment of. Right. Because many other long running 10+ year series like fucking Bleach and Naruto and fucking Dragon Ball that like I fell off of or actively started hating.
Right.
But like One Piece is 1,060 episodes in. It's a phenomenal to me.
Nice.
So so give this live action a chance and maybe we'll get you to watch the anime.
All right.
Talking about Armored Core 6. Watch some random movies because we had time this week. Did you know The Huntsman has a sequel?
The Huntsman?
Yeah, Snow White and the Huntsman.
Yes, I liked the first one.
I don't remember the first one. I thought it was fine. I guess
had a Florence record on the
it's got Charlize Theron in it, and like
it was good too. The Florence record.
Thor playing a character he's good at, which is Thor.
Yeah.
Because like I've seen him in other stuff.
He's not talented.
Very questionable, but in that specific role, much like Denzel Washington.
Yeah, dude, talk about it. Talk about it. I've been trying to tell motherfuckers.
Denzel Washington doing Equalizer 3 right now, so I'm. Really?
Can't wait, dude.
Is that the...
That's your Fast and Furious.
No, that's just John Wick, I think.
It's both.
I enjoy both of those. Not so much Fast and Furious. Sorry, Chris.
Okay, so it's medium. What's it like? But like, yeah, it's like a prequel sequel, and it's got Emily Blunt, I think is her name.
Emily Blunt? I'll take it.
Yeah. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fine adventure movie.
Yeah, I can't remember if I saw it.
I was surprised because I was like, this can't be that good.
But I remember thinking the first one was pretty good.
It was.
The visuals are great.
Yeah.
And like the actual heart of the story is pretty good.
Yeah. All right. The Florence record's good.
Obviously.
This is good.
That's it. Did you watch The New Exorcist?
It comes out in October.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. The one with Gladiator.
Oh, yeah, no, that's good. That's the one I watched it last week. I talked about it on the show last week.
I want to see it.
You loved it too? It is.
Don't spoil it for me.
It is good. It's different. It gets so much bigger.
It's only on Netflix? Is that what it's on?
Do you want a password to Netflix?
I don't know if you can. I don't know if
you can share it to like at least one house, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, no, you cannot.
Yeah,
it's
I don't think
one
so.
house. No, I wonder if you put it on your phone.
I don't know,
because I do still watch it on my phone while I'm driving, which is wild. I know,
Jesus.
but yes,
I do. It's probably on Prime. It's probably on Prime.
You know what?
Like
It was.
Even if I rent it,
It was. Yes, it was.
I want to watch that because
you got two recommends.
Yeah, no. I wanted to watch it from your recommend just because the new twist on an old classic, you might say, Joe. And like, here's the thing about it.
Russell Crowe's great.
So
Fight around the world.
But have you seen what? I didn't even catch that.
I don't know. I don't even have a guess.
Keep it real. That wasn't English. Fight around the world.
No, it's not English. It's Australian.
Smoking and drinking and fighting around the world. But like have you seen the trailer for the Exorcist? Like the
remake, or
it's like a continuation. I think it's it's like a sequel that's just named the same thing.
But they already have sequels to that movie, didn't they?
I think they're ignoring the sequels.
And a sequel.
I think they're ignoring the sequels.
Both of them and the prequel.
I think so.
Okay.
It looks fucking great.
Yeah.
Believer.
Love it.
Oh yeah, I did watch this. I want to watch this.
I like that and the Meter. I'm looking forward to. The Meter's the boat with Dracula.
The Meter.
Oh yes, yeah, I'm hyped for that.
Yeah, I want. Is that a movie or a show?
Movie.
Okay,
I think
I want to see that.
Yeah, because the name of the boat that he came on.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay,
you could to UK.
Like he had, if you watch the original Dracula, he had to take a boat to the UK from
Transylvania,
Switzerland.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't know. Wherever the fuck he is.
I think from Romania.
Yeah, and he had to like pack dirt into a coffin because he had to have home dirt.
His power comes from his land, and
God, I can't wait.
Such a good fucking
so like
character.
that talks about his boat ride.
Yeah, and he kills because like there's like because the Dracula book is all written in diary. So like that section
Keanu Reeves' diary.
It's parts. That section of the book is all written from the captain's log of the book. Of the boat.
But part of what reminded me of that is because I also watched another Dracula movie that referenced that will start the movie, the intro with the version of Demeter, which is Dracula 2000.
I think I saw that.
That's a movie.
Who's in that?
Funny you say that. You know who Dracula is?
Who?
Gerard Butler.
Oh, maybe I didn't.
That's crazy. I do not remember him before 300, first of all. And second...
Wait, Dracula, I think I saw one Dracula, Untold Story.
No. That's a newer one. Dracula 2000, I think, came out in 2000.
I might have seen that one too.
Wes Craven.
Is it like kind of more fantasy almost esque?
No,
was it any good?
I remember it being really bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember it being really bad, but it's okay.
You've just gotten used to the mid.
I mean, like
your 2000 mind was more critical.
No, it's because I've seen shittier.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, like it is mid though. Is the thing. It's not shitty. It's mid. It's fine. It's just wild to see a young Gerard Butler being Dracula, and then Linkin Park playing at the outro.
Nice.
Like, and I'm like, was Linkin Park around in 2000? Like, that movie threw me for a fucking loop.
Yeah, time capsule.
Are you excited for Godzilla?
Breath of Life is the Florence record. Just came to me.
Okay.
For the listeners.
The one you sang?
Yeah. Ugh. It's good. I don't do it justice. It's not in B minor.
There you go.
I can sing in perfect B minor.
But, yes, no.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I like Godzilla, but I'm like a huge like old school Godzilla fan.
Yeah.
So like, I don't.
Now Godzilla himself is huge, of course.
Not if he's truncated.
Nice.
Thank you.
Perfect. But like, it doesn't look like it's anything different. We got so much Godzilla.
Yeah.
Lately.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's good.
It's been too much.
Like I would watch it, but I'm not like super excited for it. But it looked like a serious monster movie.
Yeah.
We are going to have a listener, Patreon supporter, Brian the Samurai, who's a huge Godzilla fan.
Godzilla?
And he's like he knows that shit like Chucky O knows aliens and shit. And I'm going to try to have him down here at some point and do like a Godzilla education on like the history. And
he looked so silly back in the day.
Yeah, but there's a charm to that.
Eyes.
Yeah. Because he looks like you could be a pet. You know what I mean? Like even though he's like crushing your buildings and shit. Yeah.
It's like he's not supposed to. Like that's also the confusing part too. He's like the good guy, like
at times.
At times.
Yeah.
but it's still fucking your city up.
Yeah, like it's over.
But I guess it's like Superman, right? He's still fucking buildings up if he's fighting some alien.
Yeah. Do you remember the fucking people got all mad about that shit in Man of Steel?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
What a fucking... I fucking hate people, Joey, sometimes.
All the time.
Yeah.
Me, all the time.
It's just like, just get over it. None of it's real.
What they get mad about?
They got mad at Man of Steel that the fight was happening in the city and people were probably dying as a result of the buildings being destroyed from the fight, and he wasn't saving all the people. Like that, it's like that's why in Batman vs Superman they fight in that like abandoned island, and they even make a point to say it like they're on such and such island. It hasn't been inhabited for years.
But it's not his. He came to try to help people,
right?
But like collateral damage is what it is. It's not like he's trying to blow up buildings.
It's kind of important to the story too. That's Superman's whole thing.
Yeah,
and I agree. Fighting someone on par with. It's not like he's fighting a bunch of fucking.
He's not like having
bank robbers.
He's not having fun. Throwing the bank robber through a building.
Yeah.
And what bad guy is going to be like? All right, yeah, we'll fight wherever you want to fight.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I
didn't get it either.
Yeah.
But and I watched Alone Challenge, which I don't think many people care about. Alone is a show that they're alone.
Right.
This one is like a lighthearted, like side.
How'd they come up with that name?
Shareholders working around the clock.
It's like Naked and Afraid.
Yeah. Like, brilliant. Give that man a raise.
Body Bags 2.
So like this is just like some of the past contestants getting together and having challengers build offs. Basically, you got 3 days, build a boat with a saw and a hammer, and that's impressive part. There's a craftsmanship for me. It's like the one of the show was like build a shelter with a food cache of 12 foot off the ground, and in 3 days, and they do. Or build a boathouse in 3 days, and they do. And it's all documented through video, so it's not like no cheating. It's not like Bear Grylls or whatever to get.
When you think of a boathouse, who do you think of? Like somebody that lived on a boat. Anybody?
What?
Somebody
who lives on a boat?
Yeah, like in a character in a movie or whatever. I think of Kurt Russell in Backdraft. Like you can tell, like he divorced his wife, and like he got kicked out of the house, and then he just basically lived on this fucking boat, like stranded in the middle of fucking Chicago, some fucking where.
Kurt Russell? Mm-hmm. Oh, you said Kurt Russell and boat, and I thought like Overboard.
No, but also a good movie.
Fucking Waterworld with Kevin Costner. They all bought houses.
That movie got a bad rep, man. It's not as bad as they made it seem. It's not great.
Waterworld?
But it came out.
I mean, it has a whole fucking ride in Universal still.
It came out and went up against something.
I mean, it was Dennis Hopper in it?
And it killed it.
Is it Dennis Hopper?
It might have been like, it wasn't.
Something similar.
It was something like, oh, fuck. Like,
something real good.
Jurassic Park type
something
shit.
like that. Yeah. But that wasn't it, because Jurassic Park went up against fucking Last Action Hero, and that's another one that's not as bad as people say.
Last Action Hero?
Yeah,
I quite enjoy Last Action Hero.
It's not as bad as people say it is.
The concept is good,
but it came out with Jurassic Park, and people were like, "Fucking fuck that piece of shit! I'm going to see Jurassic Park again." And then it just became this thought of like it sucks, but it's actually okay, and it has a Megadeth song on the soundtrack that's quite good as well.
Okay.
Let me sing it for you.
Nope, it's not in B minor.
Go for it. In B minor, yeah. What is that mentality change today to 30 years ago?
I don't know.
If like multiple movies comes out, people just watch all of them. They don't.
But I think it's more rare now that you have those two. Like I feel like Barbie Oppenheimer is like
but people watch both.
They did, but
and one didn't get shit on over the other.
It didn't, but it is also an exception to the rule for two reasons. One, that sort of thing hasn't happened in so long, and two, they are entirely different types of movies. Whereas like the other two are both action movies, and Waterworld and the other one were both like action movies.
One's dinosaurs and one is.
Yeah, but they're like the same person that would go see Last Action Hero if it came out on a different day would go see Jurassic Park. Like not everybody like my kids went and saw Barbie. Mm-hmm. Aside from Jaina, they do not want to see Oppenheimer.
Neither do I.
But case in point.
Yeah, case in point. I haven't watched Barbie either, but like if I had to choose to watch one, I would watch Barbie.
I actually would watch Oppenheimer 6 more times before I ever sat down to watch Barbie at this point, and I want to watch Barbie.
Okay. Yeah, I guess there's a whole different brain space.
Yeah, it gave me that. It gave me those things. It gave me feeling. It evoked thought. It made me emotionally invested. Like it scratched an itch that's been going so unscratched for so long for me.
Gross.
Yeah. How do you scratch your nuts?
With my hands.
Ask my girl.
What motion? What if she's at work? You're not just going to let it go.
I think I got a couple moves.
Yeah.
I got like a pinching move if I'm wearing boxers.
You're a pincher.
Yeah. Like
if you're wearing boxers,
because you got that friction going on.
So I pinch and pull.
If you pinch and pull, you get the friction going on. I never just go straight nail. If I go scratch, I would have to like pull my ball sack up to stretch the skin out.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it just fucking flops around.
So I back scratch.
That's what that's the incident.
Yes.
A little bit of thumb to hold it back, and then back of the fingernails.
Yeah. Like
Don't shake my hand no more.
Don't
touch me
unless it's cold out.
Yeah.
Unless it's cold out, like when your balls are already shriveled up, like it's too loose to get any kind of friction going on.
Or if you get scared. You ever notice that?
No.
So I just noticed.
That's the last thing I think about.
I just noticed it. I just noticed it recently. I was doing something and I was frightened, and like I was frightened. Like I was uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, fuck, my nuts are like.
Go into detail here,
but I can't. But I was like, man, my nuts are like they're backing away from the situation. You know what I mean? They're looking for backup.
I've never noticed that. I've only noticed it in the cold.
Or maybe it's never happened. I'm curious if it's never happened or we just never noticed it.
Yeah. Well, I have
probably naturally to happen.
Yeah, I have not noticed it until this time. But then I think about like fights that I've been in, and I'm like, man, I think my nuts were probably tight.
They probably don't want to get hit. It's vulnerable.
Yeah.
I mean, I use my pockets a lot. I put my hands in my like when I'm in public space. I just put my hand in my pocket and just start scratching my nuts.
You gotta be careful with that, though. You gotta be careful. You gotta be smooth with that shit. Unless you got the super doughy nutsack where it's just all over the place.
Or in the summertime when you try to get your nuts off your leg. Because I'm not putting
my hand all the way down my pants to scratch my nuts unless I'm in the bathroom.
Of course not. But I'll tell you what, sometimes I would do if I can get away with it temperature-wise. Yeah. So I'll tuck my arms inside my shirt. I'm like, damn, it's cold in here. And I'll put my hands down my pants inside my shirt and scratch my nuts a little bit and then come back up.
And shake your hand.
And then shake your hand.
Just know that if you shake the dude's hand, they probably touch the nuts like before.
I remember a comedian. That was like, I don't even shake teenagers' hands no more. I know what the fuck I was doing with my hands back then.
Back now.
Back now.
I don't know. I should bring breaks.
Yep. You should.
Because I'm still on my true crime stuff, right? And they talk about different cases, and sometimes of insanity or diminished capacity, which is a different thing from insanity. And I'm thinking to myself, because of watching The Exorcist and all this shit, why don't we treat religion the same as we treat insanity? When if you don't mention the name of a religion, right? If you don't talk about most people just immediately think of Christianity or whatever. All right, think about someone who is spouting religious ideologies.
They're a nutball,
right?
Yeah, but you know why?
But we look, but everyday there's a lot of people who are still religious. I know we're more secular than we used to be, but like it's right beneath the surface. If you ask them if you're a man, a God-fearing person, whatever, they'll be yes, and then you find out the things that they believe in. Like
yes, and some of them are more.
It sounds really insane,
and some of them are more crazy than others.
Right? But we treat it like it's normal. We're supposed to treat it like it's normal.
The human race is a lot. Our timeline is a lot shorter than everybody like imagines it. Great grandfathers, and we're like, God damn, we've been here forever, but we haven't, and we're still figuring shit out. But we can only base it on what we used to have. So like the religion's based on what was handed down. It's all been taught, whatever. So the second you're like, well, what do you base your religion on? Well, it's what I was told. It's based on this tiny shred of evidence that doesn't even really add up. But you'll never be able to convince somebody that's been taught that, learned that, whatever, and then. Because it's a mass of people, you're not. Dude, I don't even do it on purpose anyway.
You're fucking honest today.
I'm glad you guys are making me look great.
But it's like mass hysteria, though.
One of my favorite quotes is I think it was Karl Marx. I can't remember. Religion is the opium of the masses. So like it's our drug. It's hard enough to be a human, right? So then you go and you get fucking high off this idea that makes zero fucking sense. It's not good for you because you start putting your faith in something that has nothing to do with you. You just Jesus, take the wheel.
Well, I was like, one of the crazy things that like it didn't seem crazy to me because you grew up in it.
I love it as well.
But like I was raised Catholic, lowercase c.
It's one of the worst.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean, and they're not in an offense. I mean, I'm serious. I don't mean to offend it. I know why people
just
do it.
Here's the thing: is like most Catholics don't give a fuck about like. I've never met a Catholic that would be super offended by that. For instance, you know what I mean?
I've met a lot, bro.
Like most Catholics that I know have been like, get the fuck out of here. They're all fucking. They wouldn't respond. Like I feel like an Episcopal, like not Episcopal. What are they?
Like officiating people,
Latter-day Saints.
Like no, like a Protestant or like an evangelical, somebody like that, like a born again, like that lot. I feel like they get super offended by any sort of challenge of their things. Like, but when I went to Christian school, and for 2 years, and they're not Catholic, right? Because they're Protestant or some sort
regular
of
Christian,
some sort
they
of
just believe in Christ.
Well, it's just a number of things, right? Catholic's a whole different thing. But like when they said to me that, like, because we did chapel on Wednesdays at school, and they gave you, they basically did a communion, but they don't call it communion. They would call it something else, and they had like a little cracker and a little cup of juice or whatever.
The magic ritual.
Well, not for them. Because for them, it's just a representation.
That's the same. I was raised Lutheran. It's the same thing. It's not the body and blood. It's a representation of the body and the blood.
For us,
yeah,
it was the body and blood.
The second he blessed it, it was now the body.
And when they said that, it was such a mind blowing thing to me at the time, and I was like, it seemed super wrong to me, just instinct wise. But then I was like, oh, it actually makes much more sense than what I have thought all these years.
I went to a Catholic school as well for high school.
So I didn't go to Catholic school. I just want to reiterate.
Yeah, well, sorry. But Catholics believe the same thing, that is the body and the blood. And I was raised Lutheran, like I said, where it was a representation. So I didn't go to take communion in the school either. And somebody had left, one of the other students had dropped a wafer. And it was in the bleachers, and one of the teachers came up, picked it up, did the sign of the cross, and ate it. And I was like, for me, to Joe's point that started this whole thing, like, that is crazy.
It's insane.
So where you're like, somebody just dropped the body of Christ on the floor.
I mean, that's what it is, though. Like, it sounds like we are conditioned to treat it and not laugh and treat it like normal, and that like these people aren't fucking crazy. I'm sorry, you guys. Dude, but to me, it's fucking. I'm playing along that you're not fucking crazy, but this fucking thing, this part of your life is fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
Not that I'm atheist. I'm not. I'm agnostic. There's probably some shit out there. I don't fucking know, but I'm not going to pretend to know. But what you're doing ain't it.
Yeah. And for our country to be founded on and still have it printed on the money, and like in God we trust, and like all these things, like from the national anthem to everything, it's indoctrinated, like it's driven.
But to testament of the human will or whatever, we're getting more secular. It's like I think overall we're just getting less and less religious.
But it's like the Puritan influence, right? It's like that shit's still handed down. That's like the people that Quakers and fucking all that lot, the Pilgrims, and what I mean, that whole bit, like they were on some almost like what we would consider to be radical, almost Muslim type stuff.
Yeah, same, just different religion.
Yeah. Like women had to be completely covered up. Hair has to be covered up, like shit like that. Like, and it's just, I think that as a, and I'm not here to debunk God. That's not my bang
that's
at
not
all.
The thing. That's not the part I'm talking about. I'm talking about human behavior and human beliefs. Yeah. Like when you look at the Pope or any religious event, even church, like a Easter Sunday, whatever, and you look at it from an outsider's point of view. It's like it's a fucking magic cult ritual with the clothes that they're wearing and stuff. It's literally the same shit I watch in anime.
But I think so much of it, like, it comes from interpretation. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember watching this interview with like the current Pope, who's actually like probably one of the cooler popes that we've had.
They just keep getting cooler and cooler.
Yeah,
man.
the next one's gonna come with sunglasses, but like spinners on his Pope mobile.
Hell yeah.
But he was like, he had this statement about like homosexuality. Like they asked him about it, and he was like, I think God loves everybody. And they were like, well, in the Bible, blah 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 blah. Do you think God has changed? And he was like, of course God changes, which is like. You don't say that, right? And they were like, how can you say that? And he was like, because God is in us and we change. And I was like,
Yeah, but man,
bars.
But still, that's scripted because Joe just said it. They're becoming more and more secular, and they got to keep a hold of that 10%.
They have to keep up. They have to keep up with the times somehow by changing
I'll
things.
be honest with you, I don't think that's his intention. I don't think
not him in general. But I think
that man is a figurehead, bro.
But I think that but it pissed off most of the collective. Do you know what I'm saying?
The people. Like the LGBTQ that were running away in droves.
Yeah, but nobody ran. Nobody.
I think I missed a couple letters.
Nobody, probably nobody from them ran to the Catholic Church after that. Do you know what I mean? Nobody was like, "We're coming back." You know, in the majority of the Catholic Church, the cardinal and all the fucking they didn't. They're like, "Get this fucking guy out of here." Do you know what I mean?
Did you see that reaction? Because I'm telling you, I think that's a collective head.
I disagree.
Okay,
I disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the Catholic Church's view right now. I'll be honest with you. I do not.
Oh, I don't think they like it one bit. I think they're doing what they have to do.
But I think he's sincere.
Okay.
You believe in this one guy?
Yeah. I believe that he said what he meant and he meant what he said.
Okay.
But I got sidetracked from that. Oh, but I think the more so like Puritans, right? Like at the same time, like, you know, they probably thought a whole bunch of wild ass shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like the moon is a certain color, so the harvest is going to be a certain way. And, you know,
I mean, we still have those kind of people. I mean, like, not in that way, but we have like people who are superstitious, right?
I don't like backstabbers, Joe, because I'm a Capricorn. You might be a Leo and be okay with it.
That's the same shit.
I agree. I agree. But what I'm saying is that, like, I think as people learn more, you start to interpret the Bible differently, or any religious text. You know, if you're open to also keeping up with new discoveries and everything else, then you have to kind of manipulate and not manipulate. It's the wrong word, but it's like if you're reading a text and you're trying to apply it to your life, and it was written hundreds of years ago, and then the world has changed, you just have to apply it differently now.
Oh, can't you? Why wouldn't you abandon it? Be like, this was wrong because this was written by people who did not know what the fuck they were talking about.
Because sometimes it's a shade of gray in the first place. It's a shade of gray that you interpreted to mean one thing, and now life has changed. You be like, oh fuck, maybe it means this. Like a lot of the fucking bit, like the scriptures and shit are all metaphors and shit anyway.
Yeah. It's to some people it's not. You know,
right. But those people don't change anyway.
Right.
I'm talking about the ones that do.
Because we do have extinct or like defunct religions, like any of the Greek or Roman or a lot of the older religions. We knew they were religion, but now we definitively see that shit is not real.
I think we should bring some of that shit back. I'm gonna be honest with you. And let me tell you why. Because I think the stories are better.
I mean, obviously they stuck around.
Like I think that some of those Greek tragedies and shit that are,
I know, I love those.
You know, like they say a lot. And I say this as a person that's read the Bible and read the Quran, and that's not a. But some of them are. I just as an adult now, I find more meaning in, and I think we should just bring them back. Just bring them back.
Well, I was going to pose the question.
Study them because
I was going to pose a question to Joe. Like you mentioned, we're becoming more secular as a nation.
I mean, as humans, I think overall, I'm not sure.
I think I would tend to.
It feels like it for us anyway. Yeah.
So that's happening. But earlier in the episode, we were talking about how we're just going to fucking shit. So like, is there a direct parallel? You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be a parallel. Like me and my girl had the discussion. We're gonna raise our kids in the church. But you see where I stand on it. But I think it creates through those stories, these kids learn this values of good and bad, right and wrong.
But I mean, I think part of the problem is like we've used it as a crutch to raise people instead of raising people to be good be good. We raise them to be good because man in the sky says so.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's a little misleading.
I consider myself a decent person.
Right.
I don't need I don't need a book to tell me.
Right.
I guess maybe my parents told me at some point growing up that I know shouldn't fucking hurt people, right? Okay. I don't need a fucking old man in the sky to tell me.
So, all right. So, I mean, damn, what about Boy Scouts? You know what I mean? You put your kid in Boy Scouts and you expect them to teach you the kids the good values of, you know, pitching a tent, tying a knot, being a good person. Like, the sad thing is
that's half their problem.
I should not have led with pitching a tent. Oh man, I just watched. There's a documentary on Netflix about that.
Am I right?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and I think the Catholic thing is for a different reason. I think that's about, and I say this as a ex recovering Catholic. You know that like it's about, and I see it with some of that Japanese shit that I've watched, like about like you know like about
sex
documentaries. Like or you know keep affection private. Keep it like that. When you repress something so much, it's like squeezing a water balloon. Like it tends to pop out somewhere else, and sometimes where it pops out is not good.
Yep.
Yeah, prolapse anus.
Well,
good reference, Joe.
Could be. I watched those.
Yeah, but the what?
Not those, Joe.
I watched it on Fansly and
yeah, the adult consenting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Not the kids. No, 18 plus.
Yeah, but then conversely, the Boy Scouts is just a predatory environment that predators flock to.
Yeah. It's like when the herd was going and Scar came down and
Perfect example.
But it's like there's never a defensible thing in court. You can't like
child molestation.
If a person is up there truly believing. Like God told me to kill this person, and like they're 100% like all lie detector tests, all things like you can tell this person is 100%. He believes God told him to kill this person.
That's when that's when we say he's crazy.
We say he's crazy. We don't say it's not a defense.
That's a good point.
It's not a fucking defense.
That's our justice system that trusts in God. Do you swear by God, right hand to God?
Yeah, and then God told me to do this.
And then
crazy.
you're like,
that's what I'm saying. Like how does that go together?
Point. That's a good point. That's a good point.
That's my thought of the week.
Oh yeah,
I'd like to hear readers' responses to that specific. I know that was a broad.
I just hope nobody's offended. I know that sometimes religion,
I talk about.
I know, but when you start deconstructing somebody's like faith or belief system,
because it's part of who they are. It's integral.
Well,
nobody likes
and we didn't take the time to talk about the positives that come from it, and we could do that just as much too. Like there's
a
we're not bashing anybody.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely merit into being raised a proper whatever religion you are. The problem is a lot of times people are represented by not the best of the religion. The child molesters are not the pinnacle of Catholics.
Absolutely. Right. And neither are the wars that they started or the witches that they
or the Spanish Inquisition. Nobody ever sees it coming. Much like the other. Doesn't matter.
All right.
Look, let me go.
So how was your nerd week?
Yeah, let me talk to you about it. So I went to Baltimore Comic Con. I was gonna go down to a softball tournament that was happening with some people I knew that I do regret not going because I want to go, but my daughter really wanted to go to Baltimore Comic Con, so we went there instead. I've already talked about telemarketers. I do want to talk about Baltimore Comic Con for a minute. I met Jay Lee.
Yes, I saw that.
So like, there's only 3 comic book artists that I haven't had the opportunity to meet that I want to meet. And he is one of them, and he's pretty elusive.
Is that Stan Lee's brother?
You would take one look and know there was no relation.
I saw the picture.
And I felt
the same to me.
I felt bad. Stan and Jim and Jay can't pick out Stan out of the lineup. You're like, seen one Lee, you seen them all.
I'm colorblind.
Yeah, me too. But he was working on a drawing and shit, so I felt weird. He was working on like a sketch for somebody, and I was like, hey, I hate to interrupt, but I just want to say thank you. And, whatever. And he stopped and stood up, and I was like, you mind if I take a picture? He's like, sure. And took a quick picture. Of course, the fucking camera doesn't work right. It's the fucking worst thing in the world.
And you fumble with it and and look like an ass.
Exactly. So 1 down, 2 to go. And he was super cool, super nice. So I was happy to have had that experience. And he was busy, so I didn't want to.
Was there a line?
No. Because I think there was a line when he was taking sketches.
Right.
And now people were just like stopping by and stuff and buying hit prints and stuff for sale, like 5. You know what I mean? I've imagined that. Imagine being on that level where you're like, yeah, I'm just going to bring 5 prints. That'll cover the expenses of this trip. I bring like fucking crates of shit. I got fucking, Uncle Dolphin helping me fucking wheel the shit in.
Break even.
Yeah. But anyway, I wanted to be like with him specifically. When and why did your style change? Because like in the 90s, it was like very like, it felt like the people's fingers like went on for ages and like every knuckle was pointy and shit. And then now it's like more dramatic and more like heavy blacks.
Yeah, the shadows.
But I just felt weird about it, so I let it go. Yeah, I know. But yeah, he was cool, and it was a pleasure meeting him. A couple other things I have in here.
Is it about Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Okay. Was the overall positive?
It wasn't overall positive. I'll tell you one of the big reasons why. I have a few, I won't say grails because they are obtainable, but I have a few things that are in the upper pocket of financial expenses, and they're hard to come by in the same breath. And it's just like whenever I find one, I'm always like, man, now's not a good time to spend $500 on this fucking thing. One of those things is a DC Bombshells statue from DC Collectibles of Starfire as a bombshell. And she's the last one I needed for the set. Yeah,
because you have the set, yeah.
Yep. She's the last one I needed, and I've wanted her for ages, but she goes for like between $350 to $500, and I'm just walking up the aisle, kind of minding my own business. I'm really there for Jaina, and I'm just like, holy shit. And there she was for $200. And now there she sits up top. And
that actually looks pretty dope.
Yeah. And couldn't believe it. I couldn't fucking believe it. And I was like, is this is all ready to go? To the lady, because I didn't know how to say, like, is that the right price? And be like, let me see. Oh, no, wrong sticker on that.
Yeah.
So I was like, is this ready to kind of purchase this now?
And you got to sell it better than that, bro. You got to be like, $150.
And she was like, yep. And I was like, do you take card? You know, and then I was out the door.
That was the beauty of going to I stopped having those moments a long time before I stopped going to cons, but there's always like the random finds like that.
Crazy.
That makes it worthwhile.
So there's another odd thing that happened there. Joe and I recently completed the Maja case. I'm going to get back to that story in a bit. But there's one shelf that really came into question for the Maja case, and the question was to do this motorcycle thing, which is what we ended up doing, or to get this Superman statue that I kind of have had my eyes on forever, that I thought was still on pre-order. Turns out it came out in 2021, and now it goes for like $700-800.
Yep.
I've never seen it in my life. There it is at Baltimore Comic Con. And it looks fucking great.
And you'd already dropped 200.
I already dropped 200. So I let it go, and I'm just going to keep the motorcycles in there. I'm happy with them. But
at least you got to see it in person. Do you think it would go good in that shelf?
I think it might not be wide enough.
I think it's not. That was the problem. You had to put something else in there, and that would have been weird.
Yeah. But it is great. If I can find another place for it, I'm probably going to keep my eye open for it. But it is great. And it lights up, which I didn't know. Like all the flame effects and everything light up. It's very dramatic.
I'm happy to hear you had a good time, because I went there last year because TFCon was right next to it, right? I happened to drive by you. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah, and like COVID was affecting it. People couldn't get in. They were standing in line for days. Yeah, and then on top of that, one of the guys that I bought stuff from, I wish I could remember his name. I got him on IG. I'll plug him another time. But I bought some Batman Joker artwork, like in a samurai. Yeah. I'm super, like, I love it, and that's all that matters to me. But everybody else is like, I don't know who that guy is. But anyways, I was talking to him, and he was in a mood. And he basically was like, I don't know if I can do this again. You know, like, he's like, it's just not worth. He's from Cali. He comes out to Baltimore, sets up this booth, puts the time and the effort in his, and then he gets like a little bit back. And it didn't help that it's not so much that there's a lack of interest. It's more so that it just wasn't flowing well, and all the vendors had the same sentiment. So I was actually kind of worried about the way things were going.
Yeah, I think it was definitely challenging that year when you had to have people with 3 forms of identification. You got to have your fucking injection card, you know, all that shit. But this year it was good. I'm going to circle back to it here in a second. But it was huge. It was like they had remember that space, Joey, where we brought in all of the merchandise and on that floor. We were like, oh shit, we didn't even know this whole space was back here.
Yeah.
So all that's open now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's all open.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah. And it's nice because it's like now there's like 3 concession places, and that place has like a whole seating area. Yep. It was nice. But let me see what other, because I wrote some notes.
How happy was Jaina?
She loved it, but once again, it's such a weird thing with anime. I'm going to talk about it a bit. So she's a huge anime fan, obviously. Went in her cosplay, did a little dance number.
I saw it.
You didn't see did you see the dance number?
Yeah.
Oh God! Then you're in her very close. You must have been in it too. Then her very. She's like a super close circle that she doesn't. And I was like, let me tell you something. Go ahead. I'm all about. She's home now, so I got to be careful. But I'm all about like expressing yourself and expressing your love for things. But man, when she did this little dance number in this outfit in the middle of the fucking con, I was like, this might be my limit right here. You may have found it. You may have found my limit.
What didn't you like about it?
I think the better question is, what did I like about it?
All right, what did you like about it?
That she was confident enough to do it.
Oh, well, and I'll add to that. So that's one thing. I'll add like that she learned it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, just even, I mean, it wasn't a short little fucking TikTok joint. It was like the whole intro.
I mean, I used to do whole Michael Jackson routines in my room,
but maybe that's where she gets it from.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? So I hope right. But
anyway,
your dad was probably looking at you the same fucking way.
But it's no doubt. But I didn't do it in the middle of a convention either.
Well, that's where you should do it.
So anyway,
sounds like hey, that's hate.
That's hate. But here's the thing that's weird about it, right? There's a ton of anime fans in there, right? Ton of them. They're all dressed in a lot of cosplay that's representative of anime, I imagine. To be fair, it all looks like it was bought out of a bag to me, but that's fine, including my own daughters.
Nobody does it like Joe used to do it.
Yeah, that era is long gone.
I've noticed. Very few people still do it. Like
long gone.
It's commercialized now.
Yeah. So, and even the comic book stuff, you didn't see a whole ton of like intricate cosplay. You know, it was all like out of a bag Spider-Man suits and shit like that. So that Batman suit looked good. Yeah. But anyway, he actually, I took a picture with him because this guy, this Batman, like a Affleck Batman suit, looked great. Yeah. But when I was walking past him earlier on, he's like, "I got my eye on you, Lex," and
he said that. He couldn't wait for a bald white dude to walk by, bro.
And I was like, "Oh, let me get a picture with this dude."
Damn, that's fucking good.
But so anyway, she's an anime fan. Tons of anime fans in there. All right, now this is where it gets weird. Tons of anime fans in there. Not a lot of anime stands in there. So it's like, it's a weird dichotomy now.
That's Baltimore, I think.
Where it's like the majority of, almost, I wouldn't say majority, but I would say 30% of the attendees look to be almost exclusively anime fans. But maybe 3% of the booths are anime centric. You know?
I go to Renfest now and like... You had to do that, but it's just completely become this environment for nerds. Like, you're supposed to dress up in that period or whatever, and
my lady,
yeah, that type shit. But like, you'll be walking around and there's a fucking stormtrooper walking by, which is like, it's hilarious
with a kilt.
Yes, yeah. Oh, you've been. Yeah.
But anyway, I was just like, it's just weird. Now in Artist Alley, there's some stuff. But most of the anime stuff that's in Artist Alley is like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like stuff that real anime fans would find like, oh, of course this is here. You know, like, oh, did you run out of Gokus? So you had to do Pikachu? You know what I mean? Like, it's like that.
It's probably more of a money grab than it is like a passion for...
Where I can, if I walk past your anime stand and I can name 50% of the characters, you are mainstream.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
You know? So anyway, it's just weird. Now, speaking... Okay.
But the thing is, even towards when I was leaving conventions, like, a lot of anime fans, I would say... I mean, there's crossover, of course.
Sure,
like, you just like all things nerd.
Both ways.
You like all things nerd, but you're mainly anime person. Or you even the just anime people, you become a convention person. It's not necessarily that there's anime there. That's why you see anime people at Ren Fair and Comic Cons and whatever other conventions that has anything to do with nerds. Like, it gives me an excuse to wear my anime cosplay.
Yeah, especially if you put that work in.
Gotcha.
So
which
it's just
they're not doing.
So it just becomes you're just a convention fan.
Gotcha. That makes more sense to me, honestly.
Plus, speaking of like culture in decline, remember that shit was like they was like raping chicks that dressed anything like that.
Oh yeah, I think that's
mostly in Cali.
Yeah, and I think that's a.
I say raping.
Yeah. I mean,
sexually assaulted.
Yeah, I mean, and I like. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of weird.
Who's speaking of weird?
I was talking about. I was on a segue.
Gotcha.
And then I let Joe have his men there with a good point. These motherfuckers have gotten weirder, man.
You're getting older, is what it is.
I'm gonna go back and look at my photo albums and see if I see as many weird motherfuckers.
There's a lot of fucking weird motherfuckers around. There's been weird motherfuckers around, bro.
No doubt.
I want to hear it because.
But Joe, this is not the first comic book convention I've ever been to.
That's true.
And I got to tell you, these motherfuckers have gotten weird.
Is it COVID weird?
I think COVID did it.
Yeah.
I think COVID did it. I think, and it takes me back to Lights and Wires a bit. I think wires, there's an element of wires that is directly tied to social interactions. Because that's what helps you realize where you are.
Yeah, where you got to plug shit in.
Correct.
Someone's be like, that shit is wrong. You got to plug it in over there.
And let me tell you, I'm not sure if there was a wire in the house. These motherfuckers are unplugged.
Yeah.
But I was just, and every now and then I would see a guy and I'd be like, oh, that's probably a normal guy that just likes this stuff, or a normal girl that's just into this shit or whatever. But for the most part, I was like, I don't know how you motherfuckers are getting through life.
Yeah.
Like there was a period where I felt like the con didn't express the stereotype, and now I feel like the stereotype was very prevalent in the con.
I feel like it was a wave. I feel like a while back it was all weirdos, and then became more mainstream, and then more normies came, and now maybe some of the normies have left, and then the weirdos are left behind.
So I think I agree with you, but I think there's another swath that we're not accounting for, and that was the not normies, just normal nerds. And that crowd is hard to find there anymore. It's
That's like just, basically your friend circle.
Yeah.
Like normal nerds.
Yeah. These motherfuckers, I'm not sure when some of them have seen the sun. And I'm not sure if they know anything about anything, with the exception of the niche fandom that they're a part of and every different type of Dorito and Mountain Dew. You know, like, it was rough in there. And like, some of these folks were like complimenting my daughter on her cosplay. And like, I would look down at Selena and Selena would look up at me, and we both knew. And then Jaina would say, "What?" And I'd be like, "Nothing." And Jaina was like, "What?" And Selena would turn around and be like, "She seems nice." You know, it was a different type of weird, man. It was like capital W weird. And like here's another part. There was a goddamn. Okay. So somebody came as Princess Peach, you know, and she was the BBW, you know. Look, be happy, of course. But when my 10-year-old looks up to me and says, "That's a whole bucket of peaches."
Oh, they
play to your strengths. Play to your strengths.
If they have the confidence to do it, more power to them.
I disagree with that.
I disagree,
and that's the problem. That's the problem, especially with black women.
Do what makes you happy, man.
Dude,
like,
they be wearing leotards and shit, and I'm like, there's got to be a weight limit on them fucking things. Like, it's out of control. And I don't say that because of my eyeballs having to look at you. That's where the miscommunication is. I say that because you gotta have some type of self-awareness and accountability.
But the thing is, much like the lights off people, to me, I'm happy for them. I am truly happy for them that they can live that life and not have to worry about what we think they should worry about.
But they do worry about it.
But do
they?
Though?
They do, Joe. Like,
then why are they doing it?
You can put that on and pretend you don't, which is what they're doing, but they do.
I think that.
I feel like some people don't.
I think maybe you're both right.
There's both kinds of people out there.
I'm the thing about me, right? What makes me special is that I can see both sides.
Oh, here you go.
Both sides, motherfucker.
No, but the thing is I think they do care, but I think they are comfortable because we're in an era where nobody can say, "Hey, you look fucking ridiculous."
Yeah, like Lizzo.
It's like the.
But why do we have to say that? Even if you think it,
because that's what helps the wires. Having people. Look, I wore that white fleece sweatsuit, and I thought I was something else until somebody told me I wanted to be white sheep.
Yeah. I remember that story. And I'm not just talking about fat shaming.
I'm just digesting
it's
it
not
right
just
now.
fat shit. It's anything. It's like if you think your hair is
this mustache.
Yes,
it's terrible.
Yes,
and my girl lets me know. But I have it's for Halloween costume. But if I was walking around thinking I was hot shit, I need her to tell me, you know, that ain't it, and I should listen and I should be aware
to people that cares about you or that you care about opinions to, not a stranger.
Nah, I think I might be more prone to believe a stranger.
Right.
because they're not trying to protect me.
Right. If my girl told me my mustache looked like shit, but then like 10 bitches hit on me that day,
right?
Guess who's keeping the mustache?
But you know what? Where you can get all the fucking stranger opinions you can ever get on is fucking internet comments, and that's
a different fucking.
It is different,
dude. The internet is
different.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
because you can turn off an app, you can turn off a phone, you can turn off your computer, but you can't turn off a person in front of you making fun of you.
So that's part of the stipulation, right? The people's opinions in person should matter somewhat. Because, like, I don't know, I've always been the guy who.
Wait. I think it matters because it defines whether or not it matters to you.
Right. Okay.
If you haven't been challenged that way,
that's true. But if you've been challenged and you don't give a fuck, then more power to you.
Yes, more power to you.
That's rare.
I think it's rare these days.
Is it?
Yes.
I'm not sure if that person who looks ridiculous to us have not been told they look ridiculous. Dude, I'm pretty sure they have been told.
My teenager just entered high school. She went to an orientation and didn't get to see where her classes were going to be. They sat her in a room, though, for 45 minutes and talked about how to be nice to people. I think there's something with the culture now that's so, and I'm not here to promote bullyism or anything. I'm not here to promote that. But what I am saying is that this pendulum has swung so far the other way where people aren't getting their medicine.
Yes. A dose of reality.
I think that has merit in terms of behavior. Right, because like I don't know, man. I've always been the guy who is not conforming to what people think I should look like.
Correct.
Ever.
Yeah,
but part of why I can do cosplay is because I don't give a fuck.
It's actually
part of why I can wear the same shit every day and flip flops. I don't give a fuck.
So
right?
It's actually the same.
People would think I look ridiculous going to fucking Ruth Chris in my fucking flip flops. But as long as they let me in, I'm going in.
I think the difference is that you are serious about it and you don't genuinely care. Yeah. You're the exception to the rule.
But you know you don't care.
Am I though?
You know you don't care.
Yeah, and I'm talking more
because
so about
you've been
like
challenged.
Like
you think people who looks ridiculous to the general population have never
most
been
of the
challenged?
time. If they have, I bet I'd be willing to say that they walked out of the house knowing that they fucked up. But they've switched it to, well, I don't really care, but they do care. And then they expect us to conform. So, like, let me give you a good example. Another good example is I'm an independent woman. I could take care of myself. I'm happy all by myself. But most of those women shout that shit because they're hiding behind those words and those actions.
But that's...
Is that a good...
I can say some, but like it's hard.
All women say Lizzo's beautiful until you tell your woman she looks like Lizzo.
Yeah. That's a great point. Lizzo's, oh, look at her. She's doing what she wants. She doesn't have to conform. It's like, oh, you
remind me of her.
Baby, you look just like you.
What?
Yeah. Yes, that is the perfect example.
That's a good way to challenge the behavior, the thought.
Right.
More so than look. Like I'm trying to digest this.
Yeah, even when he just said that, he put everything I was like trying to explain into a perfect example.
Conforming.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, because there's such a thing as it's just fucking hegemony. It's the fucking things that are supposed to be, quote unquote, supposed to be the way they are, that has no reason to be the way they are, other than you're told, right?
I think there's society rules and structure
just like
a lot of them don't make sense.
Right.
But if you don't have them, then shit is completely fucking out of control.
Depends on what the rules are, though.
Well, let me give you an example. Like, women not wearing a bra. Women not wearing a bra now. Like, I'm cool with that shit. Yeah. But the problem becomes, well, why are we wearing shirts? And then everybody's just walking around naked, and then it becomes like you just sat on that seat with no drawers on and you're on your period. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that's an extreme,
but that's a hygienic thing more than the clothes thing,
right? But it all started somewhere,
right? But
so
at some point,
obesity
at some point, there's a reason for the rule, and it makes sense.
And the reason we want you to look at least physically attractive, I guess, before you put on a leotard, it all originated with health. Like, you shouldn't be fat. You know what I mean? Because it's unhealthy.
But that's a personal choice, though. You shouldn't gamble.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it all started with the society structure.
But at some point,
you
gotta have the, I guess, the brain power, like, just, I don't know, analytical power to go back to where it stops mattering. And then at that point, it's like, okay, I will conform up to this point because it makes sense. And everything else after that, I shouldn't hold myself or anyone else to that standard because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right? It makes sense you have to wipe down
especially
your equipment
on a
at the gym.
personal level.
Like,
yeah.
Like it makes sense why you have to wipe down the gym equipment after you use it at the gym. It doesn't make sense why I can't take my shirt off at the gym. If I am sweating through my clothes, right? So therefore I have to wipe down the equipment.
Yeah.
It makes no difference if I'm not wearing a shirt and then wiping down the equipment.
Right.
To me, I think about shit like that all the time. Like when I get told something or an opinion by somebody, I trace back to where
if a person has a huge bump on their forehead,
we know.
And nobody and nobody says anything, right? Nobody says anything because you can't pick on them, you can't make fun of them, you can't critique them, you can't do nothing, right? So now they're comfortable with this thing on their head, and they start hanging shit off of it. Let's say a little necklace, a cissless, if you will.
New trend,
right?
They do have those.
Nobody says
that they're doing before.
Nobody says.
Yeah.
Now you come to find out this motherfucker's cancerous, and you fucking die 6 months later. That's my point. Is that like?
Right, that's what I'm saying. At some point, there was a reason, but like, if you have a bump on your head, that's abnormal. You probably should get it checked out.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is,
but if you choose to decorate it, that's on you.
If there's abnormalities, right? I'm okay with being abnormal. If you're okay with being abnormal,
yes.
But don't say you're sensitive about being abnormal.
True.
Because then you're not okay with being abnormal.
No. I understand
that's where I sit. And I think that we are raising, as a society, a generation of people that cannot be tested.
Yeah. And I think, again, like, he's doing such a better job of explaining how I feel. But yeah, like, I don't even mean to be like, she shouldn't wear that, she's fat. That's like not the message.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
I think if I was to be like, if I was to say to her, right, I'd be like, oh, you're the whole bucket of peaches. And she was like, and mushrooms. And I eat some of the magic stars. Yeah. I would be like, oh, this bitch is on it.
Yeah,
some people are.
And I would applaud that.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't feel like that. You know what I mean? And I'm not the type of person that would ever do that either, because I'm courteous and I'm a nice person.
But that's the thing, right?
But your daughter, on the other hand,
yeah, it's not. She's a fucking.
You don't want to just hurt people's feelings for no reason, I guess.
Right.
But if it's out of a place of concern, then you would express it in the manner that is out of concern. Like, if you worry about a person being overweight,
not when you're a kid.
Right.
I think these kids are coming up in an environment where the kids can't check them.
Mm-hmm. Bullying was a problem. I was bullied, but I turned out pretty good.
And then you learned who you were.
I fought back.
Right. You learned who you were.
Yeah, but I also developed eating disorder and crippling body dysmorphia, man. I still live with that to this day.
Hey, you're not going to go through any adversity unscathed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think all of us would admit we are stronger for the adversities we faced.
Fuck yeah.
And I think I'm, for the majority, I'm weaker in the areas for the adversities I didn't face. You know what I mean? And I think that,
I mean, that's the argument for spoiled people, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
I backed down from one fight and it haunts me.
Dude, my grandma, she would go.
You were gonna fight your grandma?
No. She would go to fucking Kent Mill Music and buy Ghostface Killer while I was at school with her own money, so that I would be happy when I get home.
Yeah.
And now when I go to work and we're out of vitamin water, I got an attitude about it. You know what I mean? That's because of this trait that was never, like, my grandma never told me no. You know? And now I am with a woman that is, we marry our mothers or whatever. I'm with a woman that has a lot of matriarchal consistencies and similarities with my grandmother. So when I'm like, hey, can you pick up an extra thing of vitamin water this week? And she's like, oh, it's not in the budget. What the fuck? You better fucking work it out. You know what I mean? I feel a way about that shit. And that's my weakness from not being challenged in that area. Do you know what I mean?
Are you missing book 2 of the Marvel Ultimate X-Men?
I'm reading it.
Okay.
Good eye. Okay, still working on the house.
Looking good.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm loving it so far. And
love the art.
Yeah, it's nice, right? Yeah. It's more me and more us, and we're like, it's just something we've realized recently too. Is like, man, like we're a music family. Like, we're perfectly happy just sitting at home listening to music. We don't need to watch anything. We don't need to turn on television.
Dude, you posted what was it, unplug your TVs or whatever you said?
Kill your TV
on Super Bowl Sunday, opening week of football, and I was like, "Fuck you, Bobby."
I could have chose a better day. And then we finished the Maja case.
Past Thursday.
Yeah, and I'm happy with it. You know, it's still, there's some shit that's got it, like the one fucking light is coming unstuck again, and we want to raise up one, but for the most part,
you want to raise up another one?
No, not a shelf. The Wonder Woman.
Yeah. You need a riser.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's an era that's complete. I don't need to take too much time on it. There's a video coming out on Patreon where it's probably out by now, where it's a review of the Wonder Woman statue and then a conversation about the Maja case. So if you're interested, you can check it out there.
Where's Chris at this week?
On business,
okay.
And he may not be here next week either, he said. So I got to talk to you guys, to talk to Joey specifically about that afterwards. So I'm going to go to questions first and then see where we are on time, because we're already 2 hours in.
My bad.
God, Joe.
No,
I keep bullshitting today.
No. I think it's been great discussion. So this is from Alan Mack, Daddy, Young Scrappy. He said, "Hello, boys, Bobby, Joey, and insert name." That's KC.
Perfect.
Hope you are keeping well and good. Short one today, so here it goes. If you are going to pull the trigger on a statue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what one would you go for?
We had this conversation.
We just had this conversation. So Iron Studios presents the latest art scale 1/10 line. That's just the one I have. Premium Collectible Studio represents the Raphael 1/3 statue. Let me look at these real quick. So this is the Raphael. The thing about 1/3 scale is
it's too big.
It's so fucking big. You know, so
I draw the line at 1/4.
That's the one that's coming out, or that's one of our options.
That's one of the options. But to be fair, any option. And then here's the Iron Studios one. So the thing about it is, man, like, there's a lot of good turtle statue sets out there, and we were just talking about them and looking at them recently because we didn't know if we needed to buy a set. I think the key, they all look great for the most part. I've never come across a set of turtle statues where I'm like, these are like shit.
And it doesn't matter which one, they all look badass.
Yeah. So I would look at the space and work backward from the space. But look, this is the space I want them to occupy. This is how tall it is, how wide it is. Fill it with the appropriate size turtles. Because rarely did they look like shit. You know? That's my hot take on
that's a good thing as a turtle fan. You got so much.
There's a lot of options.
There's so many turtles out there.
I don't.
No, you might have to pay a late tax on some of it, but
because I don't have like a whole bunch. You know what I mean? Like, if I only could have one, I'd have to have something that incorporated pizza, because I feel like that's the nostalgia again.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I'd have to have one that expressed that Michelangelo was in fact a party dude.
yeah. He's got a little birthday hat.
All right, so this is from Trey Fi. Hey fellas, I'm sorry that I'll be missing Mr. Pinkerton by the time us geeks hear this. However, the show must go on, right? Mm-hmm. Bobby, how did you feel to see Samantha make a cameo for the last episode of Just Like That? I honestly thought she should have come at the end, so to speak.
Fuck.
That way. Oh, you didn't know that?
I'm on.
You're way behind. You're too far
spoilers.
behind. You're too far behind for us to.
She just bought the new apartment on the one I'm in.
Okay, so yeah, you got to wait.
All right. Well, fuck.
That way, her presence would have been truly felt. I imagine that Sarah Jessica Parker or the other writers didn't want the other supporting actresses taking a back seat to the Samantha character, which would not have allowed the closure that everyone needed. My actual question for you guys, gals, is who is your favorite comedian? All right, so let me answer that first.
It's not fucking Shay. She's terrible.
The Samantha thing wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
Was it the last episode?
It's the last episode.
That's perfect.
If you're going to bring her back, you need to bring her back. She basically comes back to say that she can't make it.
Oh, she's not going to be in the next season.
I don't know. But she basically, like, they're having a big party to say goodbye to Carrie's apartment.
Yeah.
And she calls her and says, I'm not going to make it.
Oh, she wasn't actually in it.
She is in it just to say that she can't make it.
But should they show her on the phone?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember whether they cut to her. I think they cut to her.
They teased
The point is that the four of them don't get back together.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Nah. You either bring her back or leave her out.
Do you want another season?
I'm down for another season.
She texted in season 1. You didn't have a problem with that? You loved that little teaser.
I didn't love that teaser. I understood it because she wasn't gonna be a part of it, so they had to explain her in the character. I understood it. I don't think this is some new shit. They teased it. They dropped big return. Yeah. It's coming, and they're like, okay, you brought her in just to say she's not coming in.
From what it sounds like, I like it, but okay. I need to see it.
All right. Well, me and Trey Fi are on the other side of the fence. He said, "Who is your favorite comedian?" Mine is Dave Chappelle. However, I'm thinking of coming down to Baltimore to see D.L. Hughley. Please share who has busted your guts.
What the fuck? Both of us were like, what? Not even the same fucking
stratosphere. I agree. Please share who has busted your guts wide open with laughs. Hey, yo. And who do you kind of remind yourself of whenever you are feeling comedic? So my favorite is it's an interesting question.
Hard to say.
I think Dave Chappelle is the best comedian that has ever lived.
He's on the top of the mountain, bro.
I think he's the best comedian that has ever lived.
But then you have people that paved the way.
Yes. So like my favorite comedy special, I don't know if anyone is ever going to beat Raw and Delirious for me, just because they like defined my childhood. Like yeah, I still drop references to that shit all the time. RESPCC. You know how to spell it, motherfucker. But like is it
the big brown shark came.
I'll be waiting when the ships come in. Lillian. But like I know that Dave Chappelle is better.
Yeah.
You know, he works in it better.
Your favorite doesn't have to be the best.
Right. So I would say my favorite of all time is probably Eddie Murphy. I think Dave Chappelle is the best of all time. And the one that when I start getting into a space and I notice that people, like the dynamics have changed from me talking to people laughing at me, is Bill Burr. Anybody else?
It depends on the day. It's a toss-up between Bill Burr and Jim Jeffries. Those two are my favorite.
Yeah, they're good.
I'm in line with those answers. There's a female comedian, I don't know her name, but her husband is a New York firefighter, and she's hilarious.
I don't know her name. Damn.
Yeah, I'll
know what her husband does for a living, though.
Yeah, right.
Because that's sexism.
It's like 50% of her jokes. But on Netflix, and I highly recommend this, highly, especially to you, Shane Gillis.
Oh, so I have watched some of his clips. He's funny.
Oh my God.
He did that whole bit I saw about Jackie Robinson, and it's like the moment that white people
realized they weren't athletic and they started talking a bit different. Or they weren't
cool.
Cool, yeah. He was
and they're like,
and Jackie Robinson's coming to the fight.
They're like the coolest thing about white people was that they told like, that was our thing. We had it. It was fucking cool. And then Jackie Robinson came out like, and here's a young fella. He's surely not going to be able to hit what the pitcher's got coming.
Sandy Koufax throws in the curveball and holy shit, he hit the fuck out of that ball. Well, fuck.
That changed white people forever.
That's funny as shit.
Yeah, he's funny. I've got my eye on him. But yeah, anybody else that you wanted to mention, or are you good there?
No, I'll text you a list because off the top of my head, no. But there's a lot of underground people that I really like.
All right, so I got another one in from Yaz, and he says, "Hi guys."
Oh, that's a birth control.
I dated a girl named Yaz. Never mind.
I write this as I'm bombarded by memes and snarky remarks on Discord about the shows that I enjoy in different forms of comics, cartoons, anime, and manga, respectively. Shows in question: Disney's Ahsoka and Netflix's One Piece. So far, I'm enjoying Ahsoka as it comes to its 4th episode, and I binged One Piece and finished its 8-episode run.
It's fucking great.
First of all, I'm getting tired of the Disney is evil mantra on the net. I kind of get how Bobby felt when he defended this franchise. Dude, I get it now. You love or loved this shit, and I do too. Not to the extent that you love it, but yeah, I get it now. Force Friday, dude. Thank you. Next is One Piece. I didn't even want to watch this shit when I first heard of it. Then Same. Yeah, look, if I'm gonna shit on it, I might as well give it a go. As I was watching the shitty effects and all around ridiculous acting, I tried focusing on the good stuff. Look, I'm biased because I've seen the anime and read a bit of the manga, and heck, I thought to myself, this isn't riveting stuff. I mean, Luffy, the main character, is stupid.
Luffy, excuse me, please.
Sorry, that's on me. Luffy, the main character, is stupid. One Piece in all its glory is ridiculous and stupid, which makes it so endearing to me. In the end, I came to the conclusion of rating this as an average show, although I'm biased. Then I asked those who've watched it who are fans of the who are fans of the anime or manga and those who've never seen it. So far, the results are somewhat polarizing. A fan, not a normie, said he couldn't get past the acting. A normie said it was okay, but I could see the fear in his eyes of being shat on if he praised the show. My personal thoughts. It's an abridged version of the show. It's highly compressed. If you want to get
truncated,
if you want to get into the manga or anime, give this a watch. And not so many words. The good guys aren't always good, and the bad guys aren't always bad. Rolling on the floor, laughing my ass off. The normie watched it with his wife and kids, which in itself is probably an awesome family experience. Which has led me to the conclusion: if you like it, you win. I know Bobby's going to shit on Ahsoka, and Joey is going to shit on One Piece live action.
I loved it. Loved it.
Thanks, Chris. It's got some good damn parts. Just need to rant. I've been hearing the meh too much. Love you guys. Keep on nerding. So I just want to say, like, I read this prior to. I don't know what made me read it, but I read this prior to this email. I don't usually read them prior.
You read it because he wrote to you.
No, I usually keep them unread.
I see.
But there was something about it that made me want to look at it. And when he read it, I was like, I felt bad because, you know, like, even when I don't like Star Wars, which has been a lot recently, I try to shit on it the least I can. Like, but it's getting harder and harder for me. Because I don't want to be the guy that shits on everything. That's not really my bag. But it's becoming my bag because I'm hating so much of this shit that's coming out across the board. Marvel, DC, Star Wars, all of it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the person to constantly take the fucking jelly out your donut. You know what I mean? That's not. I don't enjoy anything of that. I started that Force Friday shit because everybody was shitting on Star Wars, and I disagreed. And now,
things changed.
Things changed. And my opinions changed with those changes.
And your opinion on whatever piece of content about a franchise doesn't have to be your opinion on the entire franchise, or that past good things are now bad.
Yeah.
You can still like the movies you liked back then, and you can still hate the show you hate now. And it's fine.
Yeah. And I do, but I also get, like, you don't want to, like, and I don't think it's Disney's fault. I don't think this would have been any better at Warner Brothers. I don't think it would have been better anywhere.
No, because I feel like all streaming platforms started doing the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is pumping out. Max did the same thing, and they also a bunch of, because you used to praise Max also, and now they're doing the same thing, and now you're shitting on them.
Correct. And the people, the creatives that I loved at Lucasfilm proper are at Disney.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so I don't blame Disney for Star Wars sucking. You know, but it's like Pablo Hidalgo, fucking Dave Filoni, like all these people from Kathy Kennedy, all these people that have been affiliated with Lucasfilm are now at Disney, affiliated with Lucasfilm. So I don't blame Disney. I blame the writers, and I blame a little bit of the actors.
Them, and they shouldn't get paid. Is that what you're saying?
Some of them. Some of them. I've been vocal about it. I was at first.
You can see both sides of the strike?
No. No. Here's the thing. I think people should get paid. I mean, I've said this before. I think people should get paid what they deserve.
Yes.
That's what I feel.
And any group of people, every single person isn't the same, right?
Correct.
So there's a writer's strike. All the writers are striking, but not all the writers should be getting paid more. Correct. But some of them definitely should.
Correct.
And some of them maybe should get paid less.
So you're not.
Is that what you're saying?
Some of them shouldn't get paid at all.
Not a big union guy then.
At times. All right, Paul C. wrote in, if farts actually smelled pleasant, would fart jokes be as funny?
I snipped the shit out of ladies' farts, and I still laugh about it.
Would the sound be enough, or is the pungent aroma essential? I think the sound is enough. I think the smell of a fart is the aftershock of the joke. Yeah. The fart sound is what's funny, and then you smell it, and you're like, "Ugh," and then that becomes funny. It's a two joke.
Yeah,
bit.
It's also like the place and time. The more inappropriate it is, timing it is, the fucking the more out of place it is, the funnier it is.
I love that one. That dude fucking starts farting while he's snitching in that fucking interrogation room. It's like the cops are like, "What the fuck, dude?" And he's like, "My stomach's upset." And while he's farting, he's like, "Excuse me." So good.
It's universal across all cultures. I feel like farts are just a fucking funny human thing.
Yeah. Kenny R.
Nobody else sniff ladies' farts other than me? Just me?
Just you, buddy.
All right. Write in. If you enjoy a good ladies' farts, write in. Don't let me stand alone up here.
My wife has probably it's rare. It's a rare situation that she ever farts, right? Or at least around anybody. And anytime it happens, right? Like when we catch it, she'll be like, my stomach's upset, and so sometimes we'll be out somewhere and we'll smell some shit, and Jenny will be like, Mommy, is your stomach upset? Are you feeling okay? Anyway.
What about a ripe lady's armpits? I like those too.
Hell no. Well, you're in good shape, I imagine, over there, but I am no.
Only ladies, though.
No, it's a fair body odor.
I really think there's a pheromone thing out there.
I'm out.
Because I know for a fact I'm not the only one who likes to sniff armpits.
You're the only one I've ever met, Joe.
Write in, please. Don't let me be alone out here.
A coworker of ours ordered panties from London in a Ziploc bag. They came in.
I bet
and
you
he did a video. Yeah.
So unboxing. Are you going to do a review?
He did it. Yeah.
On YouTube?
I'm going to send it to you because it is goddamn hilarious.
Huh. Now I'm not sure.
You can buy them from vending machines in Japan. I saw them.
Howdy, Ragers. Hope all is well. Last week when you were discussing the machine and if what you like falls in line with the standards of the machine, then it's okay if you really like it.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to connect with people these days. Whenever I hear someone say something of interest, like Spider-Man, I'll always chime in and ask, do you like Spider-Man or do you like Spider-Man? Most of the time people respond with, well, I like Tom Holland and the Avengers. Right then and there, I'm like, okay, you just like the machine Spider-Man, and that's fine. But I want to talk about Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi, the cartoon, etc. So I'm usually let down when I hear people's generic responses. Then there are those who respond with comic book issues and different artists, and that's great too, but way too deep for me. You just don't like Spider-Man. You love Spider-Man.
That sounds like me.
Where is there a happy medium? That's what deters me from joining the monthly Zoom calls. I did once without video because I was too intimidated. Any advice? So I don't think it's about that. I think it's about the genuineness.
Yes.
You know,
the passion.
Yeah, you can have a little bit of passion. Mm-hmm. You can have a lot of passion. But if you're just doing it because it's the thing to do or because... Right. Then you are part of the machine.
I go to the comic book store on Wednesdays when they drop the new shit, and I'll go in and I'll come right back out because if it doesn't speak to me, I don't give a shit who the artist was, or I see the cover and it's typically Batman, Joker, sorry Joe, but it typically is, and if that cover talks to me, I'm like, I'm gonna give this a go, and then if I enjoy that comic book, then I'll go get 1 through 4, but I'll never be able to come into this room and say, I'm a big comic book collector. You know what I mean? Like, wherever you're comfortable at, if that's your sweet spot, that's your sweet spot.
Yeah, and I don't think, even the people that just like Tom Holland and the Avengers, they might just like Tom Holland and the Avengers.
Just like you like Spider-Man when you were a kid in comic books.
Right.
That thing can grow and flourish if it does.
The problem for me is when people start saying, like, hey, are you going to see that movie comes out Friday? It's a new superhero movie, or okay, now you don't even know.
You don't even know what you're going to watch.
You have no idea. You just
know that something big is coming out, and you want to be part of it.
Yes, exactly. That's the problem. Okay.
And I don't know. You can still. No two people are going to be exactly the same on a fandom on any given subject. There's always going to be variance. So you shouldn't limit yourself to just talking to people who are exactly like you. Mm-hmm. You just change your level of what you expect out of the conversation. If you want to talk to somebody about something you're passionate about, right, by all means do.
Okay, yeah, agreed. He says, that deterred me from joining the monthly Zoom calls I did once without video because I was too intimidated. Like, I would say, if you join the one, I'm not sure, you might have joined one where it went super deep into something, because sometimes that happens. But a lot of times the Zoom calls is just like, we'll be talking about fucking anything,
chicken nuggets.
Yeah, and then maybe if I have some inside drama or gossip, I share it there. And
yeah, the tea. I might have to join.
Yeah, it's like toy gossip and shit. It's not like
gossip is gossip.
Anyway, on a tangent, I often get very bitter about other people's only liking comics or toys, because I was made fun of for being a nerd as a kid. I drive my wife crazy because I rant about it, and now it's the bee's knees. And just like you said, the geek culture has become another gear in the machine of pop culture. Yes, but once again, it comes down to intention and why you're into something. And,
Hey, you don't have to be a hipster about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I understand, because I'm same with a lot of us who grew up picked on forever the fuck that is popular now. It is what it is, like, I mind my business and they can mind theirs.
It's funny, I never really got picked on for this stuff. Like, I have to be honest, like, my whole life, this component of it, the only time I ever got picked on for it was when I was in my mid-20s and I joined the job that I have now. That's when I got picked on for it. And by that point, I was like, you motherfuckers think what you're doing is cool?
Right.
Like, I was in a totally different space. I got picked on as a kid because I was white.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I got picked on. And I learned to cope and deal with it and make jokes back and, navigate the waters. But the crowd that in my neighborhood and that I was running with, they all thought this shit was cool. So when they found out I was into it, they would ask me stories, and then it was almost like I was sitting in a rocking chair, and they were sitting like in, crisscross applesauce, which you're supposed to say now, like around, like listening to the stories because they were all into it too. And most of the guys watched the cartoons and everything else. So it was like this was never really a facet of why I got picked on. I got picked on because, like, if I could go into a whole deep dive on this shit, but like if somebody needed to make a store run. It doesn't matter if I had been hanging out with these guys for 10 months or 10 years, and there was another guy in there with 10 months or 10 years.
So
it was me they were gonna.
Out.
It was me they were gonna ask to do it. If anybody had to fight first, it was me. If anybody had to prove themselves every fucking time, over and over and over again, dude, let us get in trouble. Who do you think they look at first as who's gonna crack?
Were the police involved? Oh, it's who's gonna crack? Yeah.
It was me 100% of the time. And to this day, in some of those circles, I'm still the only goddamn one that stood up. But conversation for a different time. CCG, chances are you weren't there.
Put that on the stream or whatever the fuck you was talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, and then he says, Kenny, he says, actually Ken, but I try to fit in because of Bobby and Joey. I also forgot about Kenny Rogers when you said the gambler last time.
Great chicken.
And I've never had it, but he used to have one down the boulevard. Yeah. All right, so this last one is from Kamadan. He said, "Good morning. You had mentioned that you want a slight wardrobe change. I too am wanting to change. Did I say that? Oh, about t-shirts and shit. I was thinking about, I'm wanting to change how I present myself to the public. What do you guys typically default to for brands and clothing? You're probably not the best person to have. I have been thinking about it and looking around, and nothing is fitting what I'm looking for. You guys have any recommendations? I'll take any advice you have. Spitball some stuff to me.
Most variety in one store you're ever gonna get is Salvation Army.
And then he said, I'm thinking...
Thrift stores, man. I go to thrift stores.
I'm thinking about sending in
anyway.
My wife's collection to the dummies for review. The catch is it isn't toys. She listens and she's taking advice from the show. Are you willing to mercilessly destroy your furniture? Of course. Absolutely. Of course. Of course.
Shit.
Of course. Like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if it was all shoes. If it was just a shoe collection of high heels, like I'll add that shit to the mix immediately.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. So, like... For me, once again, it comes down to expressing something. Now, it's not the best day for me to catch me because I'm still kind of in my PJs. But so I almost got caught up in the machine. There was a time where I was buying pretty much. Dude, there was a time where my wife went to Target and came home with 4 pairs of cargo shorts because I hadn't bought shorts in so long that I needed shorts. She knew I wasn't going to go shopping for shorts. So Target had 4 for $30 or whatever it was sitting on the front counter or such and such, and she just bought me 4 pairs.
Yeah, so she can afford the vitamin water you want.
Right. So that you can just have this, right? So that you can have something to wear when it gets hot. And I just wore it without caring. It was easy. I didn't have to make any decisions. I didn't have to think about it. I just did it. I think a part of that was influenced, and this is coming up again, but it was influenced by people I worked with, and it was influenced by Adam. They were people with very pragmatic views and opinions on things like clothing. What's the cheapest and most durable, right? Functionality.
Yep.
And I think I got caught up in that. I didn't make a conscious effort to get caught up in it. It's just that my peer group kind of stopped caring about clothes. So I kind of stopped caring about clothes. And then it wasn't until till Adam and I broke up that I kind of started getting back to understanding myself a bit. Like
people
really
often do that after a breakup.
Yeah,
they go to the gym, they get new clothes, they look all nice.
Of really trying to think about who I am, and without that person that's been in my life since I was 11, and I was like, you know what? I fucking like clothes, and I fucking like nice clothes, and I don't like nice clothes for the like just for the sake of them being nice or whatever. Like I still wanted to express something about me. So that's where my kind of evolution of clothing has come from. Clothing, in my opinion, depends a lot on how big your pocketbook is. But you can do fly shit with
for sure, especially nowadays
with small amounts. Like it all depends. If you want brands and shit, I can give you brands. Like I like Helmut Lang a lot. I like Kasubi. I like that's Ksubi if you're trying to Google it. You know, of like the non-designer stuff, like I like that kind of stuff. Moose Knuckle, I know it sounds crazy, but I like a lot of their stuff.
Did you get a Moose Knuckle when you wear it?
No, but sometimes, you know, sometimes
you wear it high enough.
Well, no, I don't get it from the clothes. I get it from the clothes, if you know what I'm saying. You know, and then that's kind of where I like going on, like trying to find shit on the internet that's like t-shirts or other shirts that express something about me that's not like on Front Street. Like I love like that Slaughterhouse shirt. I wear it all the time, but it does say Slaughterhouse on it. It does have the names, but from a distance, it's just the pig.
Yeah.
And if you know, you know. And that's all that I
do get a good feel is when randomly I'm at a store and the cashier's like, "Oh, gonna like it."
Exactly. Exactly.
Not this is like a in the know kind of thing.
Exactly. So that's all I have. The places that I shop, like you know, as Joey would tell you, I'm a demon at Neiman's.
Fuck.
Nice.
But you know,
TJ Maxx and Cole, bro.
Nordstrom's, Saks, Neiman Marcus, and
not all Nordstroms are alike though.
That's a big fact.
That shit pisses me off.
That's a big fact.
Does it depend if it's attached? Which mall is attached to?
Correct. 100%.
There's an Asian lady named Marie Kondo. I think she's
there's a folding clothes lady.
Yeah, she's the one that like went back on all that shit now. Like
she's like, I'm happy without it.
Yeah.
For you.
But if you one of the things that stuck with me that she taught was like go through your clothes however often you want and like lift it up, look at it, you know, unfold it, hold it in front of you, put it on your body. If it doesn't inspire something, which sounds wild as fuck, and I was like laughing at it.
I get it.
But like for real, like I can't tell you how much shit I've gone through, and I told you all this when I came in. Like I want to go to a little bit more of a minimalist approach
only 3 shoes.
Because I'm looking at this shit, I'm like, I have 30 pairs of shoes and I haven't worn this one in 2 years. You know what I mean? So like, I would recommend going through your wardrobe and doing that, and then also same thing with Bobby. Like, I like the shit. It doesn't have to be a $300 t-shirt. If I almost like a tattoo, like that represents me. Like I've put thought into this and I like it. I don't care if it's $3, but I am also at a point where like the comfort means a lot too. Like if it's one of them shitty fucking t-shirts and I can't stay, feels like rigid. Right. I want that soft shit that motherfuckers just can't wait to touch. You know what I mean? Like,
and like I wear a Miri, right?
Your dog?
All right. I wear a Miri, but and it is comfortable and it is all those things. And I do like the way it fits. And if it didn't do all those things, I wouldn't wear it. Yeah. But I don't wear it because it's a Miri. I wear it because I'm trying to tell the world I listen to this type of music. And that's why I'm wearing this shit.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's an expression of what I'm into. And it's the same for all that shit.
And I'll tell you this, I'll add this, well, I know we've been running, but the other thing I want to say is that sometimes your outfit needs to say, I did this on purpose. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like so I could put on, your Amiri outfits, for those that don't know Amiri, like, it could just look like a black t-shirt and black shorts.
Correct.
With maybe a little logo, but if you don't know the logo,
you don't.
So it just looks kind of, but if you put it together with one thing, or if it wears on you right, like it's hard to kind of put into words. Like it tells people I did this on purpose.
Yeah. I also wear a lot of All Saints.
I do like that.
You know, so something to look at as well. And that is it for questions. So let's go. We can do a couple notes here. Let me see if there's any hot topics. You know what I mean? Speaking of clothes, am I right?
Nice. Don't give me a Sweet Guns N' Roses t-shirt.
You know what's the problem with like Hot Topic? I just went in there recently because Jaina wants to go. She wanted to go shopping, and she goes in Hot Topic for anime t-shirts and such.
The problem is that there's 8-year-olds going and looking at sex toys. That's the problem with Hot Topic.
Well, yeah, that too. But the other problem is they're 20 years behind being cool.
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem.
The thing is, they never change. So, like, whether they were with or ahead of their time 20 years ago, they're still at that time.
Let me give you an exact example. In 1993, I would have cut my head off and put it on the table and then used my lifeless body to take my shoe off and crammed the toe of my shoe into my mouth right there on the counter if I could have bought a Wu-Tang t-shirt from you. And you didn't have it. And now it's 2023 and you got a Wu-Tang t-shirt. Yeah. You're too late.
And even that paraphernalia shit, like the fucking, like they got beer bongs and the lanyard with the weed leaf on it. It's like, are they still doing this shit? Like,
I feel like now with weed being legal here,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's not that trendy. It's not that rebellious anymore.
Joe, did you see the Castlevania trailer for the new?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I mean, the animated was fucking great. So if it's up to the same fucking standard, I'm all in.
I liked it.
I love that series.
Did the trailer look good to you?
Yeah, it looked good to me.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out.
It looks on par.
I
which
tried.
Is saying is good.
Yeah, so I tried to watch that. I couldn't get into it, but I thought it looked beautiful. You know, I was very vocal about that. But I was just curious if you had seen it.
Yep.
Let's see.
What else? Dracula? He's dead, ain't he?
Did you finish watching the whole series?
Yeah, I thought he died in front of the fireplace.
Kind of.
Okay, I gotta go back and watch it.
Another thing I wanted to talk about was the Marvel HasLab project, which was Giant Man. Have you seen that?
The what now?
Giant Man. He's an Avenger.
Oh, I remember that guy.
So that's the new HasLab project, the crowdfunded Hasbro toy. So here's my thing. There's there might be tiers, like they might have extra faces or whatever, but there's not like usually their tiers are like extra characters, extra figures, extra blah blah blah. This thing, like, I think it looks great.
Is he Marvel?
Yes.
Yeah, I recognize
it's more of a DC name.
It kind of is. It kind of is.
Plastic Man. Here's my thing about it. It's basically a $200 Marvel Legend.
Yep.
It's a big $200 Marvel Legend, but it's a $200 Marvel Legend. To me, I think if it was $100 to $150 tops,
okay,
and the tiers were extra figures, that's a more.
What was the tiers right now?
It's like extra faces and
just
and I think an antenna. There's like an extra antenna, and it looks great. It looks great, and I think it's probably going to get funded because it is cheap. Because people really only care about price when it's expensive. They don't really care about justifying the price. $200 for a Hasbro HasLab project is relatively inexpensive.
But for the branding.
But I think that this is actually expensive for what it is, but people don't care about that. It's not about that. It's about the bottom line.
It's not much to the mold.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
It's not a Galactus. It's not a fucking...
yes. The only thing that's extra, the hands are fully articulated. You know?
Just wow.
I know. I'm trying to illustrate it. But like, I don't know. I think that the key to this would have been $150, and then, you know, after so many backers, tier 1 is the same figure in 6-inch scale.
Because he's not like a A-list character either,
right?
Is he? And now maybe I don't know.
He's not, but he is
like a fucking C-lister.
But he's also a void for a lot of like hardcore Avengers. Like he's a feral, but he's more important than feral. But where feral, I would pay a lot of money for a feral right now because it's like the only thing I'm missing. It's that for a lot of Avengers fans. I have like a modern.
You just have like a big Ant-Man though, right? No.
Well, so I have a modern Giant Man that's little, you know, like 6-inch.
It's like a truncated version of Giant Man.
Yeah. But it's like with the modern deco as opposed to like the classic.
Yeah.
You know, and to, you know, a lot of people that's unacceptable. But I don't give a fucking enough about the character. I've seen him in both suits throughout my tenure, and I'm good with either. But
where are you putting this big ass giant ass?
I mean,
man?
I guess wherever you put it. I mean, in a detail is probably where they'll end up putting a Joey, but
on a mattress at some point,
and then eventually on a mattress, yes, and then on an eBay site. But I think that the truth is that if there was a future in the funding to get Giant Man in 2 figures for $200. That's the ticket.
What about just different sized Giant Mans? One that's half size? right? But that's still bigger.
Yeah, Giant Man, 2 figures.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck which 2. Could be 2 different giant. You know what I mean?
You just want some plastic in there.
Yeah, just some extra stuff for the shelf. Some extra, like the Sentinel came with extra figures. Galactus came with extra figures, and whether they like it or not, they've kind of set
they make more sense, I guess. Than that's true. They set a precedent, but I don't know who you would put with Giant Man anyway, other than different sizes of Giant Man.
But I'm okay with that. And I think even what if you did like a
transition?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
You could do like a middle-sized one and then a 6-inch one
sick.
or whatever.
Yep.
Stuff like that I think would have been cooler.
They should put us on the board.
I know. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
The only other thing is
you did it today. So sorry.
A bunch of the Marvel shows have been pushed back. This is probably because of the strike. Season 2 of What If, Echo, which is a spinoff.
I did enjoy What If
of Hawkeye. X-Men 97 got pushed back, which is a bummer because I was actually looking forward to that, like the continuation of the cartoon. The WandaVision spinoff Agatha, starring the lady that kind of looks like my wife.
She does look kind of like my wife, but I don't know why.
But she doesn't. Not everybody looks like my wife needs a show. The lady from Obi-Wan looks like my wife. She doesn't need a show either.
She looks like she has a backstory though.
Yeah,
she's a spy.
But I still don't need it.
I was watching something where I was like, "That look, she reminds me of Laura," but I think
it happens all the time.
I didn't text you because I thought she would have been offended.
No,
whoever it was.
It happens. It happens all the time.
That's nuts.
It's always been like, hey, your wife looks like that girl from that show. Yeah, go ahead.
I know what it was. I'm not going to say
it. What? Say it.
Not Lizzo,
it's
right?
more so like the goth feel.
Okay. You think my wife is gothy?
A little bit.
Really?
I think so.
Okay, that's
maybe it was the Halloween costume last year.
Oh, that's probably what it was. Yeah. But who was it? Let me look her up.
No, it's not. She looked like shit in this show, so it's not really fair. It's not fair. It's not. It just reminded me
now
of it.
You're making me offended.
She's Lizzo. It was Lizzo.
Oh, you're trying to get on her favorite person's list. But actually, when Laura and I first, and you haven't listened to the Machine episode yet, but when Laura and I first started talking about the Machine, it's her baby. Like Lights and Wires is my baby.
Okay.
The Machine is her baby. You came up in that conversation.
Oh, on air?
No, because it's off air.
Gotcha.
She was like, she said, actually you and Hannon. I said, Hannon's on the Machine. And she was like, he is, but he's fascinated with the idea of not being on it. And I was like, that's fucking true. And then she's like, Casey can see the Machine in his future, and he doesn't want to join it.
I got to listen to this Machine.
And I was like, that's probably true too. Anyway, so with that being said, thank you for coming.
Yeah, man,
appreciate it. And
love being here.
And for those that don't know, he's getting ready to go out and teach my daughter how to pitch, which is even more that I should thank you for. Thank you. Of course, shout out to Chris on assignment. Shout out to Phil on Twitter, Dante on our notes, and Phil for the notes as well. Dante's not on our notes. Dante's on Facebook. Sorry. And Ricky Tiki Timber on the videos. And with that,
Flappy Labius.
Crusty Cuticles.
tight dick player.